Chapter 1846. If that was the case, then the opponent must have a strong beast-taming talent. With that thought in mind, the captain waved his hand fiercely. Go save her. When the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley saw the silver fox move, they knew that the elder would make such an arrangement. Immediately they rushed towards the black-clothed men. It's the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley. The black-clothed men were prepared to deal with the silver fox, but they didn't expect the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley to suddenly rush towards them. Their faces turned cold and they didn't dare to stay any longer. They quickly turned around and ran. Yin Bao. The young girl who was luckily saved quickly hugged the silver fox. Then she looked at the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley with a face full of fear. This young girl was naturally Luo Qingtong. The group of black-clothed men just now were Bei Qing and the others in disguise. The group of people had come to the front of the valley in advance to wait for the new disciples of beast-taming King's Valley. They wanted to show them that Luo Qingtong could tame beasts. And this time, the mission was completed perfectly. Hello, thank you. Luo Qingtong looked timidly at the disciples of beast-taming King's Valley and thanked them. She was currently playing the role of a naive and romantic young girl. It was convenient for her to move around in beast-taming King's Valley. Naturally, she had to act as pure and innocent as possible. Bei Qing and the others, who had successfully retreated from the shadows, saw this scene and their lips twitched. After this incident, they finally understood how good the evil doctor's acting skills were. It was as if he could pull off any act with ease, without the slightest flaw. How in the world did she practice? But how could they know that Luo Qingtong had been hunted down countless times in her past life? She didn't know how to disguise herself and had died countless times. Sometimes, when she was close to a dead end, she relied on her strong acting skills and disguise to forcefully deceive the enemy. She had brushed shoulders with the enemy several times and escaped with her life. This silver fox is yours? The elder looked at Luo Qingtong and asked. Yes. Luo Qingtong felt uneasy under his gaze. She hugged the silver fox tighter and her body trembled. She looked scared. Yi Qianxian was held in her arms. Even though he knew that this woman was pretending, he couldn't help but feel a little distressed. Because of this heartache, it turned its head and licked the girl's cheek. This time, the leading elder no longer had any doubts. Who are you? What's his name? Why are you being hunted down? He asked with a gentle expression. Luo Qingtong was about to speak. Suddenly, a voice rang out from behind. It's you, idiot? That voice was filled with surprise, anger, and disdain. Luo Qingtong looked up and saw a young girl poking her head out of one of the carriages. When she saw that it was Luo Qingtong, she immediately shouted. This young girl was none other than the young girl in green that Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian had met when they were strolling around Tianfeng City. Sitting beside her was the white-clothed girl. Yunyan. She tugged at the young girl in green's clothes. After the latter shouted, she realized that she was in the wrong place. She immediately shut her mouth and looked at Luo Qingtong with even more anger. Chapter 1847. When Luo Qingtong saw them, she raised her eyebrows. She didn't expect to meet these two here. But since they spoke, it saved her a lot of trouble. At least with them here, the people of the beast-taming valley wouldn't be too suspicious of her background. As Luo Qingtong thought about it, she quickly changed the story she had made up in her mind. My name is Night Eye. She looked at the girl in green timidly and said, I'm not an idiot. And you say you're not an idiot? The young girl in green had a sharp expression and sneered at Luo Qingtong in disdain. If she wasn't an idiot, what was she? But she didn't expect her to be the one being chased. The man beside her was also not here. Did he die in the chase? Thinking about it, Yunyan's heart was gloating. Luo Qingtong looked at her and thought, did this silly girl know that everything she said was to help her dispel the suspicions of the people of the beast-taming valley? The more she said, the less suspicious the people of the beast-taming valley would be of her. Originally, her background was unknown. But now that she had cleared it up, it was no longer a problem. She helped her so much that Luo Qingtong felt that she couldn't repay her. Sure enough, after hearing Yunyan's words, the doubts in the eyes of the leading elder towards Luo Qingtong disappeared. He looked at Yunyan and Yunxi and asked, do you know her? No, we don't. Before Yunyan and Yunxi could speak, Luo Qingtong suddenly opened her mouth. She looked at Yunyan and Yunxi angrily, then pursed her lips and bowed to the leading elder. She said, thank you for helping me. Goodbye. She turned around and left. She didn't give Yunyan and Yunxi a chance to speak. Seeing this, Yunyan and Yunxi were stunned. The two of them didn't know Luo Qingtong, but for some reason after she spoke and left, it gave them the feeling that they knew each other. They wanted to say something but they didn't know what to say. Say that they didn't know Luo Qingtong? But Luo Qingtong didn't say that she knew them. While the two of them were conflicted, the leading elder's suspicions towards Luo Qingtong were more or less dispelled. Although he didn't know everything about her background. But since she was acquainted with a new disciple, he could slowly investigate in the future. She could control beasts and they couldn't let her go. Thinking of this, he hurriedly said, "Hey, wait, Miss Tong, you were just hunted down? If you leave now, you might encounter danger again. Why don't you return to the beast-taming valley first? By the way, how did you make this little silver fox listen to you?" The leading elder calmly. What he said earlier could easily make people lose their vigilance and unknowingly they would say the answer he wanted. Sure enough, after hearing his words, Luo Qingtong's face showed a trace of confusion. She first nodded, then shook her head. "I don't know. Silver Fox and I grew up together and it has always listened to me." Luo Qingtong displayed her naive and romantic personality to the extreme. Her words were ignorant and innocent. When it came to beast taming, the more she said, the more mistakes she would make. She might as well not say anything. Let these people fill in the blanks themselves. Chapter 1848. If that was the case, then the other party was most likely a natural beast tamer. That would be even more powerful than a natural beast tamer. Thinking about it, a smile appeared on his face. "Then follow me back to the beast tamer King Valley. I will inform your family to pick you up." "I have no family." Hearing his words, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. She took the opportunity to explain her experience and cut off the other party's questioning. "They're all dead." Saying this, she lowered her head, looking very sad. "Everyone, including Qianqian, they're all dead." "Qianqian, what kind of title was that?" Yi Qianxian lay in her arms, not knowing what to say. This woman was quite good at cursing him to death. Thinking about it, he couldn't help but bite the flesh on the back of her hand and grind his teeth. Luo Qingtong lowered her head and pinched his little paw, telling him to stop messing around. So ticklish. She was building up her emotions and acting. Could this man not be a hindrance? Was it fun to tear down the stage? What if she accidentally laughed out loud? The two of them were playing tricks in private, but the leading elder was completely unaware. Hearing that Luo Qingtong's family was dead, he immediately nodded and said to her, "Miss, my condolences. If you're willing, you can stay in the Beast Tamer King Valley in the future and become a disciple of the Beast Tamer King Valley." This leading elder originally wanted to recruit Luo Qingtong into the Beast Tamer King Valley. Now that he heard that her family was dead, he had no more worries. As for the enemies she might offend in the hidden world, who would dare to provoke the Beast Tamer King Valley? Even the Star Soul Sub-Palace had to give them some face, not to mention others. "Okay. Thank you, elder. But..." As Luo Qingtong spoke, she looked at Yun Yen and Yun Shi timidly. Then she quickly lowered her head. "I'm afraid that some people won't like me going in." Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed coldly. Yun Yen and Yun Yen were a potential threat. She had to get rid of them so that they could no longer threaten her. Their last resort was to make sure that no one from Beast Taming King's Valley would believe them. Hearing this, the elder glanced at Yun Yen. The latter also felt suffocated by Luo Qingtong's gaze. "Why is this idiot looking at me like that?" If it weren't for the fact that this wasn't the right place, Yun Yen would have loudly questioned Luo Qingtong. At this moment, she was glaring fiercely at Luo Qingtong. The so-called godly assist was nothing more than this, wasn't it? The leading elder saw the look in her eyes and immediately snorted coldly. "It's fine. He's just a new disciple. He can't do anything to you. You don't have to worry about it." Hearing his words, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. Even if the two sisters went to the upper echelons of the Beast Taming King Valley, no one would listen to them. Crisis averted. After quietly getting rid of Yun Yen and Yun Yen, Luo Qingtong sat on the carriage that the Beast Taming King's Valley's people were escorting the new disciples to the Beast Taming King's Valley. Just like this, Luo Qingtong easily sneaked into the Beast Taming King's Valley. Bei Qing and Feng Yu, who were hiding in the shadows, were stunned. "Oh my god, the evil doctor is simply amazing." He was completely playing with people's hearts in the palm of his hand. First, he used Yun Yen and Yun Yen to dispel the leading elder's suspicions. Then he used the leading elder to get rid of Yun Yen and Yun Yan's hidden dangers. No one would believe anything they said. Chapter 1849. Actually, I think, with the evil doctor's scheming skills, Master doesn't need to worry about her being bullied over there. As long as we're here, we can fight whoever comes. The evil doctor can deal with everything else by herself. Bei Qing said, clenching his fists. He really wanted to go back there. At that time he would ruthlessly teach a lesson to those who dared to curse his master behind his back. Back and forth. Let's see if they still dare to play tricks behind his back. If it weren't for master's strength, those people wouldn't even be able to cause a ripple in the water. Thinking that such people dared to diss his master, he felt a burst of anger in his heart. The evil doctor's scheming skills were more than enough to deal with those people's arrows in the dark. It would be no problem for them to block the spears in the open. What do you know? Feng Yu rolled her eyes at him. The evil doctor still needs to grow. With master status, once the evil doctor's existence was exposed, there would be no peace. At that time, it would be impossible to guard against all kinds of open and hidden attacks. How could the evil doctor cultivate and improve her strength in peace? The evil doctor's talent was unparalleled and monstrous. She wasn't any weaker than master. If such talent and strength were not allowed to grow properly, it would be the end of the evil doctor. How could master do that? If it wasn't to give the evil doctor an undisturbed cultivation environment, why would master bother to hide the evil doctor's identity and the location of True Spill Continent? He didn't want those people to disturb the evil doctor. This silly husky thought that master was afraid that he couldn't protect the evil doctor and would let her be bullied. He didn't know what master was thinking. A phoenix that laughs proudly in the 9 heavens or a canary in a cage, which do you want? Master wants the evil doctor to be on par with him. He wants the evil doctor to stand proudly by his side. She doesn't want to be a canary in a cage that he protects. Feng Yu patted Bei Qing's head as she spoke. In the future, don't say such things in front of master. Otherwise, if you get beaten up, I won't save you. Bei Qing touched her head and was silent for a moment. Then she said gloomily, Feng Yu, are you looking down on my intelligence? No, you're overthinking it. Feng Yu patted him on the shoulder and said earnestly, how is that possible? Do you even have an IQ? Before he could finish his sentence, Bei Qing's fist came flying towards him. Don't run. *CK. Luo Qingtong and the others arrived at the beast-taming King's Valley in the afternoon of the second day. After passing through layers upon layers of formations, they entered the huge valley at the heart of the mountain range. Luo Qingtong sat upright in the carriage and looked outside at the layers of light that were opening like a heavenly curtain. Her eyes narrowed slightly. The beast-taming King Valley was stronger than she had imagined. There were layers upon layers of formations. Even a holy venerate would not be able to easily enter and exit them. If she had decided to sneak in before, she was afraid that she would have been blocked outside the door and would not be able to enter. After all, with so many formations, it would take a long time to analyze them. She would only alarm the people of the beast-taming King Valley if she tried to force her way in. It was best to enter as an apprentice. Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed with a bloody light. Every time she passed by a layer of formations, she would imprint the model of that layer into her eyes. She would slowly analyze it later. She looked around curiously. Chapter 1850. What a country bumpkin, just like an idiot. I don't know why the elder in charge recruited her. Isn't it just because she has an obedient beast? Her voice was extremely loud, and she even deliberately glanced at Luo Qingtong. She was obviously saying it for Luo Qingtong to hear. Luo Qingtong originally wanted to ignore her. She was just a clown. If she didn't come to beast-taming King Valley to investigate, she wouldn't have interacted with her at all. Luo Qingtong didn't want to interact with people like her. After all, if a dog barked at a person, there was no need for a person to bark back. But when she heard the word beast, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed coldly and her face turned cold. Through the curtains of her own carriage, she glanced at Yunyan's carriage and fixed her gaze on Yunyan. What are you looking at? Yunyan had been paying attention to Luo Qingtong's movements. She purposely said it for Luo Qingtong to hear. She pursed her lips and looked at Luo Qingtong. She raised her head and said coldly, let me tell you, don't think that you're amazing just because you deliberately played tricks to enter beast-taming King Valley. Isn't it just an obedient beast? Whether or not you can master the art of beast-taming is still unknown. She coldly snorted and looked at Luo Qingtong. On the way to beast-taming King Valley, Yunyan felt that something was wrong. The timing of Luo Qingtong's appearance was too coincidental. They had just left the city and she was chasing after them. Who would believe that she was on their way? Yunyan didn't think that Luo Qingtong had snuck into beast-taming King Valley. She only thought that after they met on the street that day, she heard that they wanted to master the art of beast-taming and wanted to become a beast-tamer herself. But the new disciple recruitment had already ended, so she purposely blocked their path and put on a show. She wanted to take the opportunity to enter beast-taming King Valley and become a beast tamer. That must be it. He was really too shameless. Thinking of this, Yun Yan looked at Luo Qingtong with disdain. What she didn't know was that with her powerful imagination, she had guessed part of the truth. The chase was a play directed by Luo Qingtong, all for the sake of entering the beast-taming King Valley. However, it wasn't for the sake of becoming a beast tamer. It was for something else. Luo Qingtong stared at Yun Yan for a moment before turning her head away. The second time, she narrowed her eyes. The light in her eyes flickered coldly. The other party had called Yi Qianxian a beast twice. If she didn't make a move, there would always be mad dogs barking and biting people. Luo Qingtong's eyes were extremely cold. Shua. The caravan continued to move forward. The array formations in front of them became more and more advanced and powerful. When the last layer of the defensive array was activated, the elder in charge of the team told them to get out of the car. Alright, this is the final barrier of the beast-taming King Valley. All of you follow me closely. Don't go the wrong way. Otherwise, don't blame me for not warning you if you get caught in the array. The elder in charge of the team had a very serious expression. This array was the final barrier of the beast-taming King Valley. Naturally, it was different from the arrays outside. It was very particular about the order of entry. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. She looked at the array in front of her. Chapter 1851. More importantly, these arrays revolved around this one to form a whole. To be more precise, the array outside the beast-taming valley was a chain of arrays. And the most important main array was this final barrier array. Such an array was naturally powerful when stacked together. But at the same time, if the main array was damaged, the other arrays would also be weakened or even lose their effectiveness. As Luo Qingtong analyzed the situation, she followed the leading elder inside. Can position, heaven position, earth branch. The elder leading the team was very careful with every step he took. Luo Qingtong's pupil sorcery flashed as she analyzed the array according to the elder's steps. To her, it was as if someone had provided her with a formula to solve a problem. She just had to apply it. However, with Luo Qingtong's current strength, even if she succeeded in deciphering the array, she would not be able to fully control it. Everyone follow closely. Every time the captain took a step forward, he warned everyone again. All the apprentices hid their expressions and followed behind him seriously. No one wanted to go the wrong way and test the power of this array. That woman is still looking around. If she goes the wrong way, let's see how she dies. By now, Yun Yan had already put away the expression on her face. She followed closely behind the leading elder. She looked up and saw Luo Qingtong analyzing the array and sneered. That's enough. Yun Shi, who was beside her, pinched her and pulled her back to reality. Don't always pick on others. She's already very pitiful that she's being hunted down. Her family is already dead. Why are you always picking on others? Wasn't it just a scare on the street? You were the one who said that she was an idiot first. How many times have I said that to you? Don't be so careless. It's not good for you to talk about others like that. Before Yun Shi could finish speaking, Yun Yan interrupted her impatiently. That's enough. Do I need you to lecture me? Who do you think you are? If I'm happy, I'll call you sister. If I'm not happy, you're worse than my servant. Your mother is a haggard old woman. She should have been removed from the court a long time ago. Know your place. As she spoke, she snorted coldly and walked forward, completely ignoring Yun Shi. The latter stood there alone, looking somewhat pitiful. Luo Qingtong glanced at her. It seemed that it was going to be another good play where the legitimate daughter was in dire straits and the concubine took over the nest. But this matter had nothing to do with Luo Qingtong. She had no intention of meddling in other people's business. However, she had to teach Yun Yan a lesson. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold as she stared at Yun Yan's back. Without a sound, a ray of light shot out from her fingertips. In the blink of an eye, the positions of the surrounding formations quietly rotated under Luo Qingtong's control. Luo Qingtong had already grasped some of the functions of this large array from her analysis just now. She couldn't completely control the array, but she could still change a few positions in the array. Like now, swoosh. As Yun Yan followed the leading elder's footsteps, she suddenly stepped on empty air. The array around her suddenly activated. In an instant, Yun Yan fell into an independent space within the array. Chapter 1852. 5 Elemental Lightning Fire. Countless bolts of lightning and fire blasted towards Yun Yan from all directions. Save me. Seeing the attacks coming at her, Yun Yan's face turned pale. She tried her best to escape, but the bolts of lightning and fire weren't something she could escape from. Yunyan did not have the time to run. In an instant, the first attack landed on her body. Ah! Yunyan's screams were unusually shrill. Outside, when she stepped on air, the leader of the elders immediately felt that something was wrong and hurriedly turned around to save her. However, he didn't manage to catch anything. Not only that, but because he stepped on the wrong spot, the leader triggered the entire array's attack system. It should be known that Luo Qingtong had only changed a part of her position, causing Yunyan to fall into an independent space attack. As long as the others stood in the right spot, they would be fine. However, the leader stepped on the wrong spot. It wasn't the spot that Luo Qingtong adjusted, but the spot that would trigger the entire array's attack. In an instant, the entire array was triggered. Oh no! Damn it! After missing a step, the leading elder suddenly reacted. Then his face was filled with shock, anger, and regret. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have tried to save Yunyan. This bastard! I told you not to take the wrong step. You can't take the wrong step. But she stepped on the wrong spot. The leading elder's face was extremely gloomy and angry. Luo Qingtong frowned as she looked at the terrifying attacks coming from all directions. The elder leading the team had actually taken the wrong path. Luo Qingtong's hand glowed as she prepared to attack. At this moment, boom! The entire array shook violently in an instant, and then all the aura disappeared in an instant. Everyone appeared outside the beast-taming valley. The aura of the array had completely disappeared. What's going on? A man who looked like an elder walked out from the beast-taming valley. Did you take the wrong path? He looked at the elder leading the team. The latter had yet to fully recover from the fear of the activation of the formation. Hearing this, he only nodded at him without saying anything. Seeing this, the elder immediately shook his head and said, "Consider yourselves lucky." He said, "We just received news from the Valley Master that Miss Jingyu's birthday banquet is about to begin. In the next few days, the beast-taming King Valley will open its gates to welcome guests from all over the world. Otherwise, if you activate the formation like this, I'm afraid you'll die inside." Now that the group had triggered the formation, they would probably die before they could even know and close the formation. He was really lucky. The leading elder also knew the consequences of this, and his expression turned even uglier. The surrounding apprentice disciples finally regained their senses. When they thought about how they were almost killed in the great array, their faces turned pale. As for Luo Qingtong, when the array formation disappeared, she quickly retracted the light that lingered on her finger. One had to know that it was best for the array formation to be closed by itself. Otherwise, if Luo Qingtong made a move and left some traces on the array, it would be troublesome. After all, it was the entire array formation that would be triggered. Luo Qingtong wasn't worried about anything else. She was only afraid that the people from the beast-taming valley had some special methods to investigate. Chapter 1853. At this moment, after sending off the elder who had come to investigate, the leading elder turned around with a furious expression. He walked in front of Yunyan. When the array was closed, the latter was thrown out by the independent space of lightning and fire. She was now lying on the ground, groaning in pain. "Oh, elder!" Seeing the angry figure of the leading elder, Yunyan struggled to get up from the ground. "I." Before she could finish her sentence, the elder in charge slapped her across the face and threw her out of the room. "Bastard! If you want to die, then die. Don't drag us down with you." Yunyan was already heavily injured in the space of lightning and fire. After being slapped, she fell to the ground and vomited blood. "Elder, please believe me." "I didn't." Yunyan felt an unspeakable grievance in her heart. She was clearly following the leading elder's footsteps. She definitely did not make a mistake. What was going on? How did she trigger the array? Yunyan felt wronged, but the leading elder was too lazy to care about her. "You're still trying to deny it. Unreasonable." After saying that, he turned around and left. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, he would slap Yunyan to death. Along the way, she was the most arrogant demon. If not for that, she would not have made a mistake and triggered the array. Now she was still stubborn and would not admit it even if she was beaten to death. Such a disciple would be useless even if he taught her in the future. He had to report this to the sect. After the leading elder left, the group of apprentices looked at Yunyan with an unfriendly expression. This woman almost got them killed. Yunyan had been very arrogant along the way, and they were too lazy to argue with her. Who would have thought that she would make a mistake in the array and would not repent? This woman was too hateful. The group of apprentices had just escaped from death and were still in shock. They looked at Yunyan with anger. It was obvious that Yun Yan's days in the beast-taming King Valley would not be easy. If she hid her aura and kept her tail between her legs, it would be fine. But if she was still as arrogant as before, she would suffer. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. She did not pay attention to Yun Yan and started to observe the surroundings. The entire beast-taming King's Valley was hidden in a valley surrounded by mountains. It was said to be a mountain valley. In reality, this valley was forcibly dug out from the surrounding mountain peaks by someone. The mountain peaks on all sides were as straight as swords. The side closest to the beast-taming King Valley was a perfectly straight cliff that was as smooth as a mirror, enclosing the entire valley in layers. Only the area where Luo Qingtong and the others were located had a gap for people to pass through. As for the other areas, combined with the formation outside the beast-taming King's Valley, it was impossible for anyone to approach. Even if the formation around the beast-taming King Valley was dispelled, the other areas were still extremely difficult to cross. The people from the beast-taming King's Valley really knew how to choose a place to build their sect. However, he must have done this because he was afraid that someone would come looking for trouble, right? Luo Qingtong's eyes turned cold. It would be best if the other party did not let her know that the person they had hunted down back then was Luo Jinghong. Otherwise they would have to repay this debt. After the elder left, a disciple from the beast-taming King Valley came to receive them. Chapter 1854. The beast-taming King Valley disciple who came to receive them told them that because of the birthday banquet, the beast-taming King Valley was very busy and temporarily had no time to arrange their training and whereabouts. He told them to wait until the birthday banquet was over before making arrangements. The group of apprentice disciples all nodded in agreement. Luo Qingtong didn't care. She came here this time not to become a beast-taming master, but to be able to come in and investigate things. The beast-taming King Valley's arrangement was exactly what she wanted, without those messy things to disturb her. What Luo Qingtong did the most every day was to walk around with Yi Qianxian in her arms. While analyzing the defenses in the beast-taming King Valley, she also secretly inquired about the matters of the beast-taming King Valley, especially the matters of those who were being hunted down and some of the higher-ups. Needless to say, after a few days she really did inquire about some things. In the beast-taming King Valley, there is a book dedicated to recording such secret matters. All kinds of major events in the beast-taming King Valley will be recorded in it. In the room, Luo Qingtong's eyes narrowed slightly. Beside her sat a black-haired man in silver clothes. The latter's robe was wide and the lapel was slightly opened, revealing a strong and muscular chest inside. Every time Yi Qianxian was in the room he would change back to his human form. The room that Luo Qingtong was staying in had already been set up with layers of array formations. No one could barge in casually. As long as someone came, they would immediately trigger the illusion formation and the maze. Even if the higher-ups of the beast-taming King Valley came, they would unknowingly be delayed for a while. This little bit of time was enough for Yi Qianxian to change back into a little fox again. At this moment he was holding a handkerchief in his hand, rubbing Luo Qingtong's wet hair. Luo Qingtong was half lying on his knee, her black hair like a waterfall, so scattered, mixed with Yi Qianxian's scattered hair. This was originally a very beautiful and romantic thing, but because of a certain man's clumsy movements, Luo Qingtong had to stop halfway and hurriedly stopped him. Hey, wait, you pulled my hair. Luo Qingtong hurriedly raised her hand to protect her head. Was this man rubbing her hair or pulling her hair for her? It wouldn't be long before she became bald. Luo Qingtong's face darkened as she looked at her hair. Because of Yi Qianren's rubbing, her hair was completely mixed with his and it looked like a mess. Oh my God, she was wrong. She shouldn't have ordered this man to do things. She wanted to enjoy the service of a dignified underworld supremacy. My God, how long will it take to untie? The corner of Luo's eyes. And Yi Qianxian's Luo's face. King Valley looked Yi Qianxian's s. He had never served anyone like this before, so he naturally didn't know the technique. At this time the two people's hair were all tangled together, so they could only slowly find the source, separating this mess bit by bit. Fortunately, Luo Qingtong had blood eyes, otherwise this mess would be cut with scissors. There was no other way. Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianxian searched there. Suddenly she burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? Yi Qianxian looked at her with a dark face. I'm laughing at you. Chapter 1855. Ha ha ha. She couldn't help but laugh as she fell onto the bed. The two people's hair tangled together, pulling Yi Qianxian's figure involuntarily falling onto the bed. In order to avoid pressing on Luo Qingtong, Yi Qianxian raised his hand to support himself on the edge of the bed. The man's tall and strong figure directly covered Luo Qingtong's slender figure under his body. Yi Qianxian coldly snorted and turned his face away. However, just as he turned his head, Luo Qingtong raised her hand and held him in place. The girl lying on her back below him smiled with a devilish and enchanting face. Do you know that tying hair signifies lovesickness? Luo Qingtong looked at him with a beaming face, then raised her hand to point at the tangled mess between the two of them and laughed. You tied so much hair for me. If I didn't know your temperament, I would have thought that you did it on purpose. Tying hair together, sharing the same white hair. This man probably didn't think of this at all. Luo Qingtong laughed at him when she thought of it. Tying hair. Yi Qianxian looked at his and Luo Qingtong's tangled hair. There was such a meaning? Tying hair to soothe lovesickness? He looked at the girl below who was laughing more and more vigorously, raised his eyebrows and leaned over to kiss her. Then take it that I did it on purpose. Tying hair to soothe lovesickness, sharing the same white hair. He liked this meaning very much. After knowing that there was such a book in the beast-taming King's Valley, Luo Qingtong began to try to inquire about the whereabouts of this book. However, this already involved the internal secrets of the beast-taming King's Valley, so it wasn't so easy to inquire about. Low-level people simply had no way to come into contact with this kind of thing. Even if their level was slightly higher, they would only know that there was such a thing. As for the specific location, other than the core members of the beast-taming King's Valley, no one else would know. After trying to inquire about it, Luo Qingtong quickly put down her thoughts. Looks like I'll have to wait until after the birthday party. Luo Qingtong carried Yi Qianxian on the way back. After the birthday banquet, these apprentice disciples would be arranged. At that time he would see if he could get close to the higher-ups. As long as she could get close to those people, Luo Qingtong would have a way to get the information she wanted. What he was afraid of was that he wouldn't even be able to touch it. If that was the case, how long would it take to find out the truth? Luo Qingtong couldn't wait that long. After the eruption of the heaven and earth spirit chi in the land of the deceased immortals, the immortal Jade Bone's aura would weaken in at least 1 to 2 months. She still wanted to go in and improve her strength. Moreover, she still had the map that she had obtained from the Saint Monarch's tomb. She had to go in and take a look. The matter of beast-taming King Valley couldn't be delayed for too long. Roar. Yi Qianxian, who was in her arms, looked indifferent. He wasn't worried that Luo Qingtong wouldn't be able to find out the news. Even if she couldn't find out, so what? After Luo Qingtong entered the land of the deceased immortals and improved her strength, he would directly catch the beast-taming king Gu Guzhu and interrogate him about this matter. After all, at that time he could already take Luo Qingtong away. It didn't matter even if his identity was exposed. But now he couldn't. Well, I know, I'm not in a hurry. Chapter 1856. For the next 2 days Luo Qingtong didn't go anywhere. On the morning of the 3rd day, a disciple of the beast-taming King's Valley came to inform her that tomorrow would be Miss Jingyu's birthday banquet. Hearing this, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. This was a good opportunity for her. As long as she could leave a deep impression on the higher-ups during the banquet, the chances of her being chosen by them after the banquet was very high. And this wasn't a problem for Luo Qingtong. All right, thank you, senior brother. Luo Qingtong said with a smile. She raised her hand and handed over a few bottles of pills to the disciple. These were left to me by my family. I have no use for them now, so I'll give them to senior brother. Senior brother, can you tell me what I need to pay attention to during the banquet? I'm afraid that I might accidentally offend the elders. The disciple didn't pay much attention to the pills that Luo Qingtong handed over at first, but after taking a look, his expression changed. He glanced at Luo Qingtong. They were very familiar with the information of the disciples. This disciple of the beast-taming King Valley knew that Luo Qingtong was being chased on the way and was rescued by the leading elder. Her family background was probably not bad, so she could take out such good pills. Moreover, he heard that she could control demonic beasts and was very close to them. Although she hadn't been tested to cultivate the beast-taming art, with this kind of affinity, she should be able to cultivate the beast-taming art. Thinking of this, the disciple said, "Junior sister, don't worry, I'll arrange a leisurely job for you. As for the elders, they are very easy to talk to, as long as you don't deliberately offend them, it'll be fine." Moreover, he smiled at Luo Qingtong, with junior sister's talent, you'll definitely be a beast-taming master in the future. During the banquet you can get closer to the elders. It'll be very beneficial for your selection after the banquet. This beast-taming King Valley disciple had already arranged everything for Luo Qingtong after he received the benefits. He even reminded her to show her face in front of the elders. This way, Luo Qingtong would have a big advantage in the selection of disciples after the banquet. Thank you, senior brother. Luo Qingtong was doing this for this purpose. There were many disciples going to the banquet, and there were many places that needed disciples. If she was assigned to serve dishes or wash dishes, it would be a trap. Cleaning and whatnot was even worse. With the disciples' arrangement, Luo Qingtong could at least guarantee that she would be able to attend the banquet, and she would have enough free time. No need to thanks, junior sister. The beast-taming King Valley disciple smiled at Luo Qingtong. Since Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong's Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong. Among them Luo Qingtong's Luo. The things she took out were the best. Moreover, this junior sister seemed to give people a very comfortable feeling, so he was naturally willing to return the favor. The beast-taming King's Valley disciple didn't stay for long. He gave Luo Qingtong a token of his own and told her to bring it when she reported to the banquet. At that time, someone would naturally arrange a leisurely job for her. Chapter 1857. The next day the Beast-Tamer Valley was bustling with noise and excitement. The sky was filled with the figures of experts breaking through the sky. The Beast-Tamer Valley had opened its gates to the public a few days ago. But those were only experts who had traveled a long way. Those who were closer to the Beast-Tamer Valley had only arrived on the same day. Luo Qingtong arrived at the Beast-Tamer Valley's main hall early in the morning with the rest of the crowd. At this moment, this place had already been vacated by the Beast-Tamer Valley's people for Miss Jianghu's birthday banquet. Luo Qingtong carried Yi Qianxian in her arms and followed the Beast-Tamer Valley's disciple who had arranged the work for her into the main hall. Her gaze swept across the main seat of the hall. There, the Beast-Tamer King Guguju's figure sat upright. Below him, to his right, sat a young girl with a delicate face, but her eyes were filled with pride and arrogance. At this moment she was saying something to the Beast-Tamer King Guguju, causing the latter to laugh. Luo Qingtong's eyes drooped slightly. If she guessed correctly, this young girl should be Miss Jianghu, the little princess of the Beast-Tamer Valley. She was truly a pampered young girl who grew up. She wondered if it would be easy to get information from her and get close to that book if she stayed by her side. Luo Qingtong seriously pondered. However, she quickly dispelled this thought. Not because of anything else, but because the other party seemed to be very difficult to get along with. This kind of arrogant young girl, it was naturally no problem to coax her. But the problem was that their moods were too fickle. They would fall out with the slightest dissatisfaction. Moreover, wasn't there a good saying? Like repel, opposites attract. Luo Qingtong only wanted to find the whereabouts of that book. Wasn't it the same for her to go to anyone's side to investigate? There was no need to run to the other party's side and be submissive. Most importantly, the man beside her would definitely not agree to it. At that time he would definitely go crazy. Luo Qingtong thought about it and dismissed this idea. She lowered her head and walked past the other party. The job she received was very leisurely, which was to wait for orders in the main hall. In other words, before everyone arrived and the banquet started, Luo Qingtong was very idle. After the banquet started, Luo Qingtong would be very idle. Those bottles of pills were indeed worth it. Luo Qingtong was very satisfied. As Luo Qingtong walked past Miss Jianghu, she suddenly heard the other party say, "I didn't expect Grand Elder to have such a method. If this is the case, then the murderer who killed Senior Han will definitely not be able to escape." Senior Brother Han? The core disciple of the beast-taming King's Valley that she had killed in the western wilderness. Luo Qingtong's eyes narrowed and she slowed down a little. A white-haired old man sat beside Jianghu. He nodded and said, "That's right. Han Dong is my grandson. Since he was murdered, I must find the murderer." He sneered and said, "I'm afraid that the other party doesn't know that the amethyst heart fruit I had Han Dong bring back has been specially cultivated. In this world there is only one. That one was painstakingly cultivated by me. Originally, I only wanted him to use it to lure the lightning beast. After trapping the lightning beast, he would bring the fruit back to me. I didn't expect that he would not come back after leaving," the Grand Elder said with a cold expression. Chapter 1652. Translation. Yi Qianren looked at the evil aura at the corner of her lips and instantly snorted. He did not know what she was up to this time. However, he did not interrupt Luo Qingtong's excitement. Let this woman do whatever she wanted. Even if the sky fell, he would be there to support it. Yi Qianxian brought Luo Qingtong and disappeared from the Great Chu Imperial Palace. Dark night, Great Qi Dynasty's holy capital. Song Yin was throwing a tantrum where the people from the Breeze Pavilion were. I don't care. I will make that woman suffer. Song Yin covered her bruised and swollen face. She could not get rid of her resentment. That woman called Luo Qingtong was too audacious. She thought about how she had ordered the people from the Breeze Pavilion to stop Luo Qingtong. Not only had she failed, but she had also been beaten up. The bruises on her face had yet to fade. Why? She was just a woman from the secular world. She was just a little genius. How dare she treat her like this? No matter how powerful that Ming Zun from the Black Field was, could he be more powerful than the entire Breeze Pavilion? He was just bullying the strong cultivators from the hidden world. Song Yin was infuriated. Senior Uncle Zhang's face was also very gloomy. The injuries on his legs had been healed. However, he had been forced to crawl out of the Four Academy's grand banquet. It was too humiliating. He still remembered the extreme humiliation that made him want to kill himself. He had arrogantly gone to find trouble with others. In the end, he had been humiliated. He gritted his teeth as he thought of this. We can't find trouble with that Luo Qingtong for now. That Ming Zun from the Black Field was too powerful. He could not defeat him. However, before Song Yin could voice her displeasure, he had already laughed coldly. I can revoke that Luo Qingtong and everyone related to her from entering the hidden world. He then instructed the people around him, go and tell the people from the other sects that I suspect there is something wrong with the Four Academy's grand banquet. The result of the competition is invalid. Those who won and can enter the hidden world will all be disqualified. Martial Uncle Zhang's face was very cold. Luo Qingtong's strength had already reached the Sage Realm. It was reasonable to say that she could rely on this Sage Realm strength to directly enter the hidden world. However, she had injured someone from the Breeze Pavilion. As long as he reported this matter, he would be able to prevent her from entering. After all, the strength of a Sage Realm expert was not particularly powerful. As for Luo Qingtong's potential and ability, he was currently the strongest in this secular world. As long as he forced the people from the other sects who knew about this, they would not be able to reveal this matter. When Luo Qingtong heard him say this, she tilted her head slightly and looked at the superior Sirius. It was a black flower. Its velvet-like petals wrapped around the center of the flower and drooped down slightly. This superior Sirius flower could sense the aura of the Thunder Beast? Then let's destroy it. The bloody light in Luo Qingtong's eyes flickered. Then she closed her eyes again and covered it up. She wouldn't give him the chance to find true Spill Continent. Fang Jingyu, on the other hand, looked at the superior oxypetalum in surprise. Chapter 1859. Doesn't that mean that I can still have that lightning beast? That's great. It's a pity that she didn't contract with that lightning beast in this birthday banquet. But it doesn't matter, she can just contract with that lightning beast after she obtains it. With the beast-taming art that she cultivates, she can contract more than one demonic beast. Fang Jingyu's heart is full of pride, and at the same time she looks at that superior orchid flower with even more joy. Grand Elder, leave your superior Sirius with me for now. After the birthday banquet is over, let's go find the murderer who killed Senior Brother Han. Okay. The Supreme Elder naturally agreed without hesitation. To him, it doesn't matter where this superior orchid flower is placed. Moreover, this is the main hall of the beast-taming King Valley. What's wrong with leaving it here? With Fang Jingyu looking after it, he will be more at ease when he goes to socialize with others later. Moreover, he took out this superior orchid flower so that after the birthday banquet, he will bring this superior orchid flower to find the murderer who killed Han Dong. As long as he knows the whereabouts of the lightning beast, he will definitely be able to find the murderer who killed Han Dong. The superior orchid flower is left by Fang Jingyu's side. The latter likes it very much and specially asked the people around her to find someone to look after this superior orchid flower. After the birthday banquet, she will bring this superior orchid flower to find the lightning beast. Luo Qingtong looks at the back view of the person who left and follows with narrowed eyes. This senior sister. Luo Qingtong stops that disciple of the beast-taming King Valley. The other party is Fang Jingyu's maid. Seeing Luo Qingtong stop her, her eyes instantly turn serious. What do you want? Her expression is very arrogant, and her tone is also very high and mighty. It's like this, senior sister, I am a new disciple. I want to ask, does Miss Jingyu lack someone to serve her? I hope senior sister can help me out. As Luo Qingtong spoke, she handed over the few bottles of elixirs in her hands. That beast-taming King's Valley disciple originally didn't want to bother with Luo Qingtong. She had seen many disciples like her who wanted to reach the heavens in a single bound. However, when she received the bottles of elixirs, Luo Qingtong deliberately did not cover them tightly. The smell that floated out of the bottles caused her expression to change drastically. This pill's aura was abnormally pure and rich. It was a pill that she could take, but it was of a much higher quality than the pills she could take. She grabbed the bottles of pills, then looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "Good, you've asked the right person. Miss Jianghu still needs someone to take care of her flowers. It's the pot of black adumbra beside Mississippi." She pointed at the pot of adumbra beside Fang Jingyu and said, "Do you see it? As long as you take good care of it after the birthday banquet, I will naturally put in a good word for you. At that time, you might have a chance to be chosen by Mrs. Side." This beast-taming King's Valley disciple thought that Luo Qingtong wanted to find a good way out. After all, who doesn't know that the allocation of new disciples this time hasn't started yet? The elders and protectors of the various halls have not started to pick people. If the other party could follow by Mrs. Side, it would be a great blessing. In the future there will be a chance to achieve meteoric success. Alright then, thank you, senior sister. Chapter 1860. What she wanted was an opportunity like this. Two birds with one stone. As for the man in her arms, Luo Qingtong quietly reached out and pinched its little paw, telling it to stop messing around. It couldn't come out now. Whether it was in human form or fox form, this man was very attractive. Unfortunately, it didn't have any self-awareness. Luo Qingtong didn't want anyone to take a fancy to it at this banquet. It would be troublesome if that happened. Smack. Luo Qingtong lowered her head and kissed the silver fox's cheek. Then she carried it into the main hall. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of her. "So you're so scheming. You actually bribed senior sister. I underestimated you. I really thought you were an idiot." Yun Yin looked at Luo Qingtong with jealousy. She had seen everything from behind the pillar. She had also heard the words of the beast-taming valley disciple. Thinking that Luo Qingtong would be able to serve Miss Jianghu, she thought that after the banquet she would have a meteoric rise. She felt a wave of jealousy in her heart. She took a step forward and said, "Knight, give this opportunity to me. Otherwise I'll report you to the elders. I'll say that you bribed senior sister and wanted to harm Miss Jianghu." Yun Yin raised her head high as she spoke. "Don't forget you have an unknown background. I know everything about you. If I say that, what do you think will happen to you?" She threatened her. Yun Yin had been having a hard time recently. Ever since she took the wrong path in the array, she had been isolated by everyone. Not only that, but there were also a few people who teamed up to bully her every day. How could Yun Yin endure such a life? She took out all the good things she had in exchange for a chance to serve at the banquet. She wanted to be chosen by someone at the elder level. Then who would dare to bully her again? But who would have thought that before she could come up with a good idea, Luo Qingtong had already climbed up the social ladder of Miss Jianghu and was going to serve her? How could Yun Yin accept this? She wanted to steal Luo Qingtong's opportunity. "Did you hear that?" She looked at Luo Qingtong proudly and said, "Just say that you gave the opportunity to me. Otherwise I'll report you." Luo Qingtong looked at her coldly. If someone really wanted to court death, there was no way to stop it. Luo Qingtong was still thinking about what kind of good reason and excuse to get away without leaving any hidden dangers after getting rid of the adumbra flower. Who would have thought that Yun Yin, the scapegoat, would take the initiative to come knocking on their door? What reason did she have not to fulfill his wish? "Alright, I promise you. Don't." Her face was full of panic, as if she was really afraid that Yun Yin would report her. Seeing this, Yun Yin felt even more smug. "Why aren't you leading the way?" She had effortlessly obtained the opportunity to serve by Fang Jingyu's side. Yun Yin was extremely arrogant. She looked as if she had been chosen by Fang Jingyu to be by her side. Seeing her like this, Luo Qingtong's lips curled up, but she murmured reluctantly, "Okay." She walked step by step towards Fang Jingyu's direction. Chapter 1861. Why did you bring someone else with you? Yun Yan's expression was extremely unhappy. She didn't give the other party a chance just to give her an inch and take a mile. It was fine if she came alone, but why did she bring someone else with her? Senior sister. Luo Qingtong lowered her head and said in a small voice, I'm not coming." Her voice was slightly choked as if she was extremely reluctant. "I have something to do. I'll give this chance to her, okay?" The beast-taming valley disciple looked at Yun Yan. The latter hurriedly smiled at the beast-taming valley disciple and said, "Senior sister, it's like this. Something happened to her family. Her dispirited appearance is really unlikable. It's not good for her to serve in front of Miss, so I'm here." As she spoke, she cursed Luo Qingtong in her heart for being so troublesome. She purposely acted like this for the other party. It was a pity that the senior sisters above did not care about their disputes. As expected, although the beast-taming valley disciple didn't look worried, she could already tell that this matter wasn't as simple as it seemed. But wouldn't this opportunity be given to anyone? Since the other party was willing to give it up, she couldn't be bothered to meddle. "All right. Then you can go." She agreed without hesitation and said to Luo Qingtong, "Mm." Luo Qingtong responded and walked out, looking back 3 times with each step. She looked like she was reluctant to part with him. "Senior sister Yunyan, you must do your best." She tugged at Yunyan's skirt, and a faintly discernible aura covered Yunyan's entire body. Yunyan's face was filled with impatience. "All right, hurry up and leave." Yunyan swallowed the words back down her throat and said without any trace of politeness. Her appearance was indescribably arrogant and proud. "Okay." Luo Qingtong walked out step by step. When she reached the corridor on the opposite side, her expression suddenly changed. Lazy, casual, domineering, and unrestrained. Where was the slightest bit of reluctance? "Let's go, Qianren. Let's go out for a stroll and get some information. We'll come back later to watch the show," she said with a smile. This man must be suffocating in her arms, right? She took it outside to wander around the courtyard. Just avoid the crowd. Roar. Yi Qianxian poked his head out of her arms. His eyes, which seemed to contain countless saber lights and blood swords, were very unhappy. It raised its claws and scratched Luo Qingtong's clothes to vent its anger. Then it jumped out of her arms. That posture was extremely domineering and elegant. But soon, it subconsciously licked its claws, causing its domineering aura to stiffen and turn into ashes. Damn it, this was the instinct of a young fox. Ah. Looking at its stiff and depressed expression, Lu Qingtong hugged it and gave it a kiss. Then the two of them strolled around the courtyard outside the hall. After strolling for a while and hearing a lot of news about the hidden world, Luo Qingtong brought Yi Qianxian back. At this moment, in the main hall there was a sudden scream. The voice was unusually shrill, hysterical, and filled with disbelief. "It's here." Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed, and she rushed forward in a flash. In the main hall, Yunyan looked at the black Adumbra in front of her in disbelief. Chapter 1862. Seeing this, Yunyan could not help but cry out in pain. How was this possible? What was going on? How did this superior orchid flower end up like this? She looked at this scene in a panic, unable to believe that this was the superior orchid flower that was in front of her just a moment ago. Yunyan's scream alerted a group of people in the main hall. At this moment, everyone was celebrating Fang Jingyu's birthday. The thunder-type beast that needed to be contracted was also being dragged into the main hall by chains. Fang Jingyu was about to start the contract with a smile on her face when she heard Yunyan scream. They looked towards Yunyan's direction. Instantly, Fang Jingyu, the Grand Elder, and the Beast Tamer King Guguju's expressions changed. Swoosh. The Grand Elder was the first to appear in front of Yunyan. He snatched the pot of superior orchid flower away and inserted his aura into it to check. Fang Jingyu and the Beast Tamer King Guguju looked directly at Yunyan. What's going on? The Beast Tamer King Guguju yelled. I don't know. Yunyan looked at the Valley Master, Fang Jingyu, and the Grand Elder rushing over. Her expression was one of panic. I didn't touch it, I was just looking at it, and it, before she could finish her sentence. Bang. The Grand Elder who snatched the superior orchid flower retracted his aura from the superior orchid flower and waved his sleeve. A terrifying aura exploded. In an instant, Yunyan's body was sent flying out of the main hall with a scream. Bitch. The Grand Elder's expression darkened. He had already checked. The aura of this superior orchid flower had completely withered. Its life was gone and it couldn't be saved. He had painstakingly cultivated this superior orchid flower so that he could come back and find out the cause of Han Dong's death. If it wasn't for Fang Jingyu's birthday celebration, he wouldn't have come back. Instead, he would have brought this superior orchid flower to find out who killed Han Dong. Now, this superior Sirius was destroyed right in front of his eyes. Speak. What did you do to it? This superior Sirius flower was filled with an aura that countered it, which was why it withered so quickly in such a short period of time. because this kind of aura was not strong, it was very gentle. It was a kind of aura that was slowly eroding and then suddenly erupting. Therefore the passers-by did not notice it. By the time he noticed that the superior Sirius flower had withered, it was already too late. This could only be done by someone who had always been by its side. This B*TC still dared to say that it had nothing to do with her. The Supreme Elder's face was filled with anger. If it wasn't for the fact that he wanted to keep Yun Yan alive to interrogate her and ask her why she attacked Yu Tanhua, he would have torn her to shreds with that strike. He actually dared to attack his superior Sirius right in front of him. How dare the other party? Who on earth sent them? Was he also responsible for Han Dong's death? Thinking of this, the anger in the Supreme Elder's heart flared up. Speak. Who on earth ordered you to do this? He suddenly took a step forward, and with a boom the floor under his feet suddenly exploded and rolled forward. Pooh. Chapter 1863. I really don't know. Yun Yan was already terrified by this series of attacks. The Grand Elder controlled his attacks perfectly. He didn't kill her but made her wish she was dead. At this moment she felt as if her bones and flesh had been smashed millions of times. She lay on the ground and cried bitterly. I don't know, I really don't know. Yun Yan's heart was filled with fear. She snatched this job from Luo Qingtong's hands and thought that she would have a meteoric rise in the future. She didn't think that this was a job of death. Why did the superior orchid flower suddenly wither? She didn't even touch it. Yun Yan cried bitterly, her heart filled with regret. If she knew this would happen, she wouldn't have taken this job from Luo Qingtong. She should have just let her die. Grand Elder, Valley Master, Miss, I really don't know what happened. She lay on the ground and cried. If it wasn't you, then who was it? Fang Jingyu's face was cold. She was also very angry in her heart. She asked the Grand Elder to keep the superior orchid flower by her side, but something happened. Not to mention anything else, just this point alone made her unsure of how to explain it to the other party. For something like this to happen at her birthday party, she felt terrible. The way she looked at Yun Yan was full of disgust and disgust. Trash. She couldn't even take care of a flower. She even dared to beg for mercy. You said it wasn't you. Then who else touched this superior orchid flower before and after you? As soon as she spoke, Yun Yan's face turned pale. No one. No one else touched this superior orchid flower before and after her. Yun Yan took this job from Luo Qingtong. She was counting on it to have a meteoric rise. She protected this superior orchid flower like an eyeball. Everyone who wanted to get close to this superior orchid flower was scared away by Yun Yan using Fang Jingyu's name. Therefore she couldn't find a reason to say that this had nothing to do with her. But I really didn't. I didn't. Yun Yan broke down and cried. Only now did she know what kind of dead end she was walking on. And this path of no return was something she had forcefully snatched and maintained by herself. She really didn't touch this Adumbra. You really didn't. Grand Elder, Valley Master, young miss, please believe me. She wept bitterly. As for Luo Qingtong, when she heard the Grand Elder interrogate Yun Yan about who had instructed her, her eyes suddenly flickered. She suddenly thought of who she should shift the blame to. I know, Luo Qingtong said timidly at this moment. Her voice instantly attracted the attention of the Grand Elder, Beast Tamer King Guguju, and Fang Jingyu. They looked at Luo Qingtong, who was walking out of the crowd. When Yun Yan saw Luo Qingtong walk out from the crowd, her eyes widened. Bitch, you're trying to harm me? Yun Yan was about to go crazy. She didn't do anything, but Luo Qingtong stood out and said she had done it. This bitch wanted to harm her. She thought about how she had taken this job from Luo Qingtong. That was why she had ended up like this. Her emotions became even more agitated. She climbed up from the ground and rushed towards Luo Qingtong. However, she had only taken 2 steps forward when she was stopped by a man. Chapter 1864. With a boom, the Grand Elder waved his sleeve and sent it flying towards her. She fell to the ground and spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. She was on the verge of death. Speak. The Grand Elder's face was cold. He looked at Luo Qingtong. Yes. Luo Qingtong's face revealed a look of fear. She timidly glanced at Yun Yan, then said to the Grand Elder and the others, I saw her interact with someone like that. As she spoke, she drew out a medallion. Someone from Celestial Palace? Seeing the badge that Luo Qingtong drew, the Grand Elder and the Beast Tamer King Guguju's faces darkened. What Luo Qingtong drew was none other than the emblem of Celestial Palace. Furthermore, it was a badge that only someone from Celestial Palace could wear. So the Celestial Palace was the one behind all this. Their faces were filled with anger. Yun Yin, on the other hand, shouted loudly. I didn't. You're lying. What Celestial Palace? She didn't know anything about them. This bitch was slandering her. Before Luo Qingtong could say anything, the Grand Elder had already flicked his sleeves fiercely and knocked all of her teeth out with a bang. Shut up. His voice was cold, then he looked at Luo Qingtong. What proof do you have? The Supreme Elder's expression was extremely solemn at this moment. When he saw Luo Qingtong draw that emblem, he was already 70 to 80% convinced of this matter. After all, Luo Qingtong and the others had no chance to interact with such a high-level person from Celestial Palace. How could she draw the badge they wore? This meant that she had seen them before. But just in case, he continued to ask. Yes. Under Yun Yan's piercing gaze, Luo Qingtong nodded timidly, then took out something. This was dropped by that person when they met. Luo Qingtong took out something that belonged to the Celestial Palace enforcers. Luo Qingtong only needed to casually take out a representative and it would be enough to convict the people from the Supreme Heaven Palace. After all, how would the people from Celestial Palace explain to the Grand Elder and the others where the enforcers from Celestial Palace went? To find the secret map of the land of the fallen immortals? The people from Celestial Palace would only say that if they were crazy, they would only keep their mouths shut. Not only that, but they would also secretly guess that the deaths of the 3 enforcers from Celestial Palace had something to do with the Beast Tamer King's Valley. Was the map of the fallen immortal in the hands of the Beast Taming King's Valley? They didn't dare to ask so openly, so they could only guess in their hearts. Then this enmity was set. Not only would the people from Beast Tamer King's Valley think that the people from Celestial Palace were the murderers, but the people from Celestial Palace would also think that the people who stole the map of the land of the fallen immortals were from Beast Tamer King's Valley. Because the time of Han Dong's death and the opening of the Saint King's tomb matched. Luo Qingtong only needed the Grand Elder's questioning to figure out the entire plan. Not only that, but she also immediately executed it. Now it seemed that there were no problems. Woo-woo. Yun Yan's teeth were all broken. Chapter 1865. This bitch set her up. She didn't do anything. Where did she get those things from? Yun Yan's heart was filled with terror and fear. Only now did she realize what a terrifying trap she had fallen into. This was a trap set up by Luo Qingtong. The one who colluded with the Celestial Palace was none other than Luo Qingtong. She purposely let her steal the opportunity to take care of the superior Sirius. She wanted to find a scapegoat. She succeeded. Yun Yan would never be able to clear her name. Yun Yan's body trembled violently out of fear and dread. As for the Supreme Elder and the Beast Tamer King Guguju, their faces darkened when they saw what Luo Qingtong had taken out. Put this thing away. The Supreme Elder ordered the people around him with a solemn expression. Whether or not this thing belonged to the Celestial Palace, and who it belonged to, he would naturally investigate thoroughly. If this was really done by the Celestial Palace, he would definitely make them pay the price. The Beast Tamer King Guguju's face also darkened. The people of the Celestial Palace were too daring. They dared to provoke the Beast Tamer King's Valley. This wasn't over. If they didn't give him a proper explanation, he would definitely let them know what the consequences were. Both of their faces darkened. The surrounding crowd was already dumbfounded by what they saw. This was actually done by the Celestial Palace. Oh my God. What was going on with the people of the Celestial Palace? They dared to provoke the Beast Tamer King's Valley? Most of the experts present were from the Beast Tamer King's Valley. There were very few people from the other sections. Most of them just sent people to deliver the gifts and then left. After all, the land of the fallen immortals was about to open. They were all anxious to increase their strength. Moreover, the person celebrating the birthday was a junior, Fang Jingyu, and the Beast Tamer King Guguju. Naturally, there was no need to be so serious. Even so, there were still many people from the other sects who came. At this moment, their hearts were filled with shock. Something big was about to happen in the hidden world. The guests didn't really know what was going on. They only knew that the people of Celestial Palace seemed to have colluded with the disciples of Beast Tamer King's Valley and did something that angered the Grand Elder and Beast Tamer King Guguju. After all, the fact that the Supreme Elder had planted the superior Sirius epiphyllum, which could be used to find Han Dong's murderer, was not made public. However, it was precisely because of this that the Supreme Elder and the others were furious. They had just thought of a way to find Han Dong's murderer when something happened to Adumbra. They wouldn't believe that the Celestial Palace wasn't watching their beast-taming King Valley. If the Celestial Palace was really behind this, then it was very likely that they were the murderers of Han Dong. Provoking the beast-taming King's Valley like this was not putting their prestige in their eyes. How infuriating. Could it be that the Celestial Palace wanted to replace the beast-taming King's Valley as a first-class sect? The beast-tamer King Guguju and the Supreme Elder had all kinds of conspiracy theories in their hearts. If it wasn't for the fact that the birthday banquet wasn't over yet, they would have rushed down the mountain and settled the score with the people of Celestial Palace. The beast-tamer King Guguju forcefully suppressed his anger. He planned to wait until the birthday banquet was over before making any plans. Chapter 1866. Wait. She looked at Luo Qingtong. I just saw you. You came here with her. What did you say to my maid? She pointed at Yun Yan. Obviously the word, her, was referring to Yun Yan. The two of us came to exchange jobs. When Luo Qingtong exchanged jobs with Yun Yan, she knew that she would be questioned and questioned. She didn't panic. She looked at Fang Jingyu and said in a low voice, "This superior orchid flower should have been taken care of by me. But senior sister Yun Yan found me and asked me to give this job to her. Otherwise, she would go to the Valley Master and say that my background is unknown and that I want to harm you. I was afraid, so you exchanged jobs with her?" Fang Jingyu's expression was cold and her voice was furious. "Do you know that you destroyed my superior orchid flower?" Fang Jingyu was furious. So it was because of this. The other party exchanged jobs with Yun Yan. That was why the latter had the chance to get close to the superior orchid flower and attack it. Fang Jingyu didn't care if Luo Qingtong had her reasons for exchanging jobs with Yun Yan. She only knew that because of the other party's actions, the superior orchid flower was destroyed. "Why should I believe you?" Fang Jingyu said coldly. "Who knows if you gave this job to her on purpose? Were those people from Celestial Palace in contact with you?" A cold glint flashed across Luo Qingtong's eyes the moment she said that. This little princess of beast-taming King's Valley, Miss Jingyu, wanted to vent her anger on her? Luo Qingtong didn't believe that the other party didn't think of asking her maid. As long as she asked the disciple of beast-taming King's Valley, the matter would be clear. She was so unwilling at that time. Anyone could see it clearly. But now the other party might not tell the truth. As expected, the disciple of beast-taming King's Valley immediately shivered after hearing Fang Jingyu's words. She knew that the young miss was very angry. Whoever was involved in this matter would be in big trouble. Not only that, but she was also the one who had agreed to Luo Qingtong and Yun Yan's exchange. If it wasn't for this, even if Luo Qingtong requested it herself, Yun Yan might not be able to get close to the superior Sirius, let alone make a move on it. If the young miss knew about this, she would be finished. With that thought in mind, the beast-taming King's Valley disciple steeled his resolve to keep this matter a secret. "I'll just let this girl take the blame for this." She looked at Luo Qingtong, her eyes twinkling. Luo Qingtong looked at her eyes and knew that the other party would not stand up to speak. Not only that, but she would also confirm that he was in cahoots with Yun Yan. However, since Luo Qingtong dared to give this job to Yun Yan, how could she not have considered this? Just as she was about to speak, a figure suddenly stood out from the crowd. "I can testify for her. What she said is all true." That figure's voice was weak, but it was unusually firm. Hearing this, Luo Qingtong was surprised. She immediately raised her head to look in the direction of the voice. When she saw who it was, she was even more surprised. Not because of anything else but because the person who stood out was Yun Shi, Yun Yan's older sister. On the other side, when Fang Jingyu vented her anger on Luo Qingtong, Yun Yan was so happy that she almost went crazy. The other party had caused her to be in this state. Now she was going to be buried with her. Chapter 1867. This be *TC. They're working together to deal with me. She struggled with all her might and screamed loudly, but no one paid any attention to her. "Who are you?" Fang Jingyu looked in Yun Shi's direction with an unfriendly expression. Why were things happening one after another today? Was there an end to it? "I am Yun Yan's sister." Yun Shi pointed at Yun Yan, who was struggling and rolling on the ground. She lowered her head to hide the hatred and pleasure in her eyes. "I can prove that junior sister Tong is telling the truth. She did come into contact with outsiders, but I didn't know that they were from Celestial Palace and were trying to harm the Beast Tamer Valley. I also know that she threatened junior sister Tong to change her job. I just didn't expect that she was working for Celestial Palace. Yun Yen betrayed the beast-taming King Valley. As her elder sister, I cannot shirk my responsibility. Valley Master and Miss, please punish me. But junior sister Tong is innocent. Please, Valley Master and Mississippi. Yun Shi knelt down as she spoke. Yun Yan's sister? Fang Jingyu frowned slightly. If this was the case, then she did have the right to testify for Luo Qingtong. After all, no one knew Yun Yan better than she did. As soon as Yun Shi spoke, she cleared Luo Qingtong of any suspicions and pinned the blame on Yun Yan. If even her own sister said so, then there was no doubt that Yun Yan was in cahoots with the Celestial Palace. Oh. Yun Yan struggled with all her might. She couldn't believe that Yun Shi was the one who gave her the final blow. This submissive girl, who had always been bullied by her and didn't dare to resist, gave her a fatal blow in the end. Not only that, but she also helped her enemy escape a calamity. Yun Yan's eyes were wide open. She was so enraged by this scene that she almost fainted. Until she lost consciousness, she couldn't believe that she would end up like this. It was just a moment of greed, but in the end she almost lost her life. Drag her away. The beast-tamer King Guguju said coldly. Yun Yan could not die just yet. They still had to interrogate her to find out what the Celestial Palace wanted to do, and what other ambitions they had for the beast-taming King Valley. One could only imagine how miserable Yun Yan would be in the future. Because she didn't know anything about the Celestial Palace, the beast-taming King's Valley would think that she didn't want to talk about it. After dragging Yun Yan away, the beast-tamer King Guguju looked at Yun Shi. Alright, get up. You have done well in this matter, placing righteousness before family. The Celestial Palace matter ends here. All of you leave, he said to Yun Shi and Luo Qingtong. He couldn't disappoint the beast-taming King's Valley's disciples. Luo Qingtong and Yun Shi had both stood up to expose the people from Celestial Palace, which was a meritorious deed. If he were to punish them because of this, who would dare to stand up for the beast-taming King's Valley in the future? Not only would they not be credited, but they would also be punished. When Yun Shi stood up, Luo Qingtong knew that this matter was settled. Yun Shi's words were more effective than 1,000 or 10,000 of her own words. As for why Yun Shi wanted to help her, Luo Qingtong already had a vague guess in her heart. It seemed that this Yun Shi was not a coward. The two of them left the main hall. As for Fang Jingyu, she was still very unhappy. Chapter 1868. She also had the intention of biting the hand that fed her. After all, Luo Qingtong had exposed Yun Yan's collusion with Celestial Palace. Thinking about this, she could only suppress her anger and continue with the birthday banquet. Because of the wilting of the superior orchid, she still hadn't formed a contract with a demon beast. The birthday banquet continued in the main hall. On the other hand, Luo Qingtong and Yun Shi went to the garden at the back. Thank you for this time. When there was no one around, Yun Shi lowered her head and nodded at Luo Qingtong. The latter raised her eyebrows and looked at her. Shouldn't I be the one thanking you? I should be the one thanking you. Yun Shi looked at her and shook her head softly. You dealt with Yun Yan first, that's why I stood up. Don't worry, although I don't know why you want to frame Celestial Palace, I will help you. Yun Yan betrayed the beast-taming valley, there is no doubt about this. I won't give her a chance to stand up again. Yun Shi's expression was unusually determined. She and Yun Yan had always been polar opposites. She had no support in her family. Even in the beast-taming valley, Yun Yan's talent was stronger than hers. If nothing unexpected happened, she could only be suppressed by Yun Shi for the rest of her life, be bullied and humiliated by her, and be a slave. But now, something unexpected had happened. She looked at Luo Qingtong. She didn't know what the other party had done, what had happened to the wilting of the superior orchid, and who had done it. But the other party had helped her deal with Yun Yan. That was why she had stood up at the last moment to help Luo Qingtong. In fact, she was also helping herself. At that time, it was the best time to show her face and she could step on Yun Yan and make a great contribution. Why didn't she do that? Rather than saying that she was helping Luo Qingtong, it was better to say that she was helping herself. At the same time, she would step on Yun Yan even deeper, so that she would fall into the abyss and never be able to rise again. Okay. Luo Qingtong looked at her and nodded. This delicate-looking girl was not simple. Since she was willing to help her, Luo Qingtong was happy to relax. At least, with Yun Shi's words, Celestial Palace would definitely take the blame this time. She would not leave any hidden dangers on her side. While I'm still in the beast-taming King Valley, You can come find me if you need any help. She nodded to Yunxi and said, when the time comes, I will do my best to help you. All right. Yunxi glanced at Luo Qingtong in surprise. When she was still in the beast-taming King Valley, could it be that she would leave in the future? But she was a beast tamer, the most promising one in the beast-taming King Valley. Where else could she go? Yunxi looked surprised, but she didn't say anything. Luo Qingtong's origin was mysterious. Everyone thought that the two sisters were acquainted with her. However, only they knew that they had only met Luo Qingtong once. She was now in the beast-taming King Valley to take refuge, right? Thinking of how Luo Qingtong had been hunted down before, Yunxi felt that she seemed to have discovered the truth. Your enemy is Celestial Palace? She asked carefully and then said to Luo Qingtong, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Luo Qingtong looked at her with a smile. What did it matter if she told anyone or not? She had helped her in public before, so they were on the same side. If she told anyone about this, was she waiting for the people of the beast-taming King Valley to find trouble with her? You can say that. Chapter 1869. The Celestial Palace was indeed one of her enemies. But it was only one of them. Moreover, it wouldn't be long before they became a thing of the past. Luo Qingtong and Yunxi didn't stay in the garden for too long. They still had to help out at the banquet. The beast-tamer King Guguju asked them to leave, but he didn't ask them to go back. They still had to do what they had to do. However, just as they walked out of the garden, they heard a violent and uncontrollable roar of a beast coming from the direction of the main palace. Roar. Accompanied by the roar of the beast, the sound of lightning flashing and thunder seemed to light up in the main hall in front of them. A large area of crackling lightning suddenly spread out. What was going on? Luo Qingtong and Yunxi looked at each other. The latter's eyes were full of surprise, while Luo Qingtong just raised her eyebrows. In the main hall, Fang Jingyu should be contracting a demonic beast. Why, did something go wrong? At this moment, the main hall was in chaos. Everyone was watching Fang Jingyu contracting a demonic beast. Unexpectedly, the thunder-type demonic beast, which had been pulled into the main hall and was waiting quietly for Fang Jingyu to contract, suddenly became agitated and went crazy when she approached. No matter how much the beast tamers from the beast tamer King's Valley scolded and released their pressure, it was useless. The wildness and violence in its body seemed to have been ignited in an instant. With a boom, it knocked Fang Jingyu, who was standing in front of it and was about to contract with it, flying out. Bastard! Seeing this scene, the beast tamer King Guguju was furious. He immediately attacked the thunder-type demonic beast. However, after knocking Fang Jingyu away, the thunder-type demonic beast rushed into the crowd. There were many people in the main hall who came to watch the banquet, but not everyone's strength was incomparably strong. This thunder-type demonic beast crashed into the crowd and instantly caused waves of screams. The strong people in the crowd were afraid of the people around them and didn't dare to rashly attack with all their strength. The beast tamer King Guguju could only angrily withdraw his majestic strength. Otherwise, even if the demonic beast was captured, more than half of the people in the main hall would be killed or injured. Bastard! What the hell is going on? It was supposed to be Fang Jingyu's most dazzling and glorious birthday party, but problems kept popping up one after another. The beast tamer King Guguju was furious. At this moment, Fang Jingyu's figure had already been caught by the Supreme Elder who had leaped into the air. She didn't suffer any injuries, but her complexion was very ugly. No matter who it was a slap in the face for something like this to happen at his birthday party. What the hell is going on? Why did this rushing thunder beast suddenly go crazy? The rushing thunder beast was one of the strongest thunder sacred beasts. Although it couldn't be compared to the thunder beast, it was still very powerful compared to other thunder beasts. Fang Jingyu had chosen to form a contract with it this time, but she hadn't expected it to go berserk halfway through. If it weren't for the numerous experts from the beast-taming King's Valley by her side, that collision would have been enough to kill it. One had to know that the rushing thunder beast specialized in speed. Coupled with its lightning power, Fang Jingyu didn't even have the chance to react to that attack. It's the Adumbra flower in your hand. I forgot to tell you, the Adumbra flower can only be seen and not touched. Chapter 1870. The Supreme Elder said with a frown. He didn't expect Fang Jingyu to like the superior orchid flower so much. Looking at the rushing thunder beast's frenzied appearance, she probably had a lot of superior orchid flower in her hands. This kind of flower fragrance was something that humans could not smell. Only demonic beasts could smell it. He cultivated this superior orchid flower to complement the purple heart fruit to stimulate the rushing thunder beast's strength and growth. This superior orchid flower fragrance could make the rushing thunder beast enter a frenzied state at any time without any side effects. It was a very good frenzied agent. This rushing thunder beast was also stimulated by the superior orchid flower fragrance. Hearing this, Fang Jingyu, who was originally furious and thought that someone wanted to harm her, was embarrassed and stunned. So all of this was caused by her? Fang Jingyu didn't expect that just because she liked the superior orchid flower and touched it a few more times, it would turn out like this. Her birthday banquet was ruined by her own hands. Then what do we do now? She looked at the Supreme Elder. We can only kill it by force. This rushing thunder beast absorbed too much of the superior orchid flower fragrance when you were near. We don't know how long this frenzied state will last. If we delay any longer, I'm afraid there will be casualties in the main hall. The Supreme Elder looked at the scene in front of him and had a headache. What the hell is going on here? A good birthday banquet turned into a mess in the end. If there were casualties among the guests who came to congratulate because of this, it would be the biggest joke. Alright. Beast Tamer King Guguju listened from the side and immediately said coldly, all elders and protectors of Beast Tamer King Valley, attack together and kill this rushing thunder beast. Although without a monster contract, this would make Fang Jingyu's birthday banquet a laughing stock. But if they didn't do this, the entire Beast Tamer King Valley would become a laughing stock. After weighing the two options, Beast Tamer King Guguju could only choose the lesser of two options. The group of Beast Tamer King Valley people heard the order and immediately attacked the rushing thunder beast together. The reason why so many people attacked together was because the main hall was full of people. They couldn't use too much strength, otherwise the rushing thunder beast would be fine, but most of the guests who came to celebrate would die. If this were to spread, it would be a laughing stock. If it wasn't for this, Fang Jingyu wouldn't have needed so many people from the Beast Taming King's Valley to act. Any elder would be able to kill it with a sweep of their sleeves. After all, the Beast Taming King Valley was a first-rate sect, and their elders were all above the Sage Emperor realm. However, at this moment, these elders couldn't use their powerful strength and combat skills. He could only use his physical strength to deal with the rushing thunder beast. Boom boom boom. The people from Beast Taming King's Valley had their misgivings, but this thunder beast didn't. It rampaged through the Beast Taming King Valley's discussion hall. Large amounts of lightning energy surged out from its body, forming a large net as it moved forward. The guests screamed again and again. Some of the more powerful people were standing at the front, blocking the lightning attacks. They could not use their strongest powers to deal with the rushing thunder beast and could only passively defend against it. Chapter 1871. One had to know that the thunder beast was known for its speed among the thunder sacred beasts. Even the thunder beast was no match for it in this aspect. The thunder beast's most powerful aspect was its berserk state and its defensive power. However, in terms of speed, the thunder beast was the strongest among all the thunder sacred beasts. At this moment, the thunder beast's figure was constantly galloping in the main hall. Wherever it passed, it brought with it the power of lightning. The screams from the guests became even more intense. With the thunder beast's speed and the power of lightning, the guests who were slightly weaker might be injured or even killed if they were not careful. Just as the guests were screaming, the people from the Beast Taming Valley received the order to surround the beast. They had received the order from the Beast Taming King Guguju to not show any mercy. Naturally, they were ruthless. With this, the thunder beast's attack was blocked. At the same time, it also received a large portion of the attacks and started to get injured. Feeling that these people's attacks were not as gentle as before, the berserk thunder beast instinctively flew out of the main hall. Seeing this, the Beast Taming King Guguju quickly ordered, once the thunder beast leaves the main hall, begin to surround and capture it. Don't kill it. Previously, they were afraid that the thunder beast would stay in the main hall and cause casualties to the guests. Now that it took the initiative to rush out of the main hall, the Beast Taming King Guguju naturally did not want to kill it. This thunder beast was specially found for Fang Jingyu. Its cultivation level was at the Saint King realm. Among the thunder beasts of the same level, it was the strongest. Once it was killed, it meant that Fang Jingyu would have to settle for the second best and contract with an even weaker monster beast. Otherwise, she would have to find a better monster beast in the future to contract with. However, the land of the fallen immortals was about to open. If Fang Jingyu wanted to enter, she had to increase her strength. Otherwise it would be too disadvantageous. Therefore she definitely had to contract with it. As such, it was best not to kill the thunderous beast. The people from the beast-taming valley naturally accepted the order. They chased the thunder beast out of the main hall. The latter took advantage of the many guests in the main hall to quickly rush out of the main hall. With bloodshot eyes it dashed toward the backyard. Luo Qingtong and Yunxi happened to be on this road. They had just come out of the garden. Hearing the commotion in the main hall, Zhang Xian didn't intend to get involved, so he didn't rush over. However, who would have thought that after the thunderous beast saw that there were few people in the backyard, it rushed out of the main hall and headed straight for them. Boom. The gigantic beast seemed to have descended from the sky and charged straight at them. His blood-red eyes were filled with ruthlessness and murderous intent. It rushed toward Luo Qingtong and Yunxi. Behind it was a group of people from the beast-taming King Valley. Catch it! Their voices were cold and harsh. They clearly saw Yunxi and Luo Qingtong in front of them, but they simply ignored them. In the eyes of these beast-tamer King's Valley elders, the Thunder Beast's life was much more important than Luo Qingtong and Yunxi. They were just two disciples. If they died, so be it. Not to mention that Luo Qingtong and Yunxi were just two apprentices. Even if they were official disciples, they wouldn't care. The group of people just shouted and rushed over. They didn't have the slightest intention to kill the Thunder Beast. Chapter 1872. Panic appeared on Yunxi's face. Junior sister Tong. She nervously and fearfully grasped Luo Qingtong's clothes. The two of them were no match for the rushing Thunder Beast at all. In front of this extremely ferocious and terrifying rushing Thunder Beast, they didn't even have the slightest chance to escape. Yunxi thought and closed her eyes in despair, not daring to look at the scene in front of her. Luo Qingtong looked at the rushing Thunder Beast and the group of people from beast-taming King's Valley behind it, and her eyes narrowed slightly. At this time she couldn't use her strength. Then she could only, "Qianjia, it's up to you." Luo Qingtong looked at Yi Qianxian in her arms. Although the latter couldn't use his human strength in the form of a little fox, his physical defense and attack power were still there. Luo Qingtong naturally had a way to let him deal with this rushing Thunder Beast without being injured, and without being noticed by the people from beast-taming King's Valley. Swish! Luo Qingtong directly released the aura of the 9-layered exquisite pagoda in her mind. With a bang, the rushing Thunder Beast that had rushed in front of her instantly stopped in its tracks. Suppress. After the aura of the 9-layered exquisite pagoda suppressed the rushing Thunder Beast, Yi Qianxian's figure swept up in an instant and rushed in front of the rushing Thunder Beast. Four extremely sharp little claws popped out of the soft, fan-like meaty pads. Yi Qianxian waved its front claws and directly cut the trachea of the rushing Thunder Beast's neck. The powerful defense of a Saint King Realm monster beast and the terrifying lightning surrounding the rushing Thunder Beast had no effect on Yi Qianxian's claws at all. The cute and petite little fox directly pierced its neck with its claws. Bang! A cloud of blood suddenly exploded in mid-air. The rushing Thunder Beast wailed and fell in front of Luo Qingtong and Yunxi. The two hugged each other and trembled. Inbao. Luo Qingtong pretended to be scared and pleasantly surprised. She directly ran over and carried the little fox out. The latter was covered in blood. After shaking off all the blood on its body, it threw itself into Luo Qingtong's arms. Luo Qingtong hugged it and kissed it, looking excited and happy. But in private she smiled and whispered in the little fox's ear, "Qianjia, you're so cool." Yi Qianren's ears fluttered due to the instinct of a young fox. It cast a sidelong glance at her with a pair of cute, round fox eyes. Its eyes were full of confusion. What did she mean by, extremely handsome? But the Thunder Beast's neck really did explode. It's Inbao. He was naturally powerful, and Luo Qingtong would know that he was even more powerful in the future. At this time the group from beast-taming King's Valley arrived. When they saw the lifeless rushing Thunder Beast lying on the ground, their faces were filled with shock. One of the beast-taming King Valley's elders flew forward to check the wounds on the rushing lightning beast. That little fox killed it. They looked at the soft and cuddly little fox in Luo Qingtong's arms. It looked like a pampered little fox of a rich family. This little fox actually killed the rushing Thunder Beast? Everyone looked at the little fox's petite figure with a strange expression. They didn't expect this little fox to be so powerful. What's going on? Chapter 1873. They were in the main hall dealing with the guests and calming them down. With the addition of a Saint King Realm Thunder Beast, they didn't need to do anything. The people from Beast Taming Valley were more than enough to capture it. But who would have thought that after they were done dealing with the matter, they would rush over to see the corpse of the Thunder Beast? Beast Taming King Guguju was instantly enraged. His gaze swept across the scene. Who did this? He didn't even have time to check the wounds on the Thunder Beast's body. He thought that the people from Beast Taming Valley were too heavy-handed and killed the Thunder Beast. He had clearly ordered that the Thunder Beast couldn't die. Are you ignoring my orders? He was enraged. The Supreme Elder and Fang Jingyu didn't look too good either. Especially Fang Jingyu. Because of the Thunder Beast's madness, her birthday banquet had been ruined. Fortunately, when she found out that the Thunder Beast didn't have to die, she could save some face. But she didn't expect that the Thunder Beast would be killed in the end. She looked at the scene angrily. At this moment, the elders of Beast Taming Valley hurriedly said, "Valley Master, it wasn't us who killed it. It was this little fox." As they spoke, they raised their hands and pointed at Yi Qianxian in Luo Qingtong's arms. The little silver fox was lying in Luo Qingtong's arms. It was furry, round, and very cute. It had a small pink nose and pointed, flapping ears. No matter how one looked at it, it looked like a little pet to be admired. This little fox actually killed the rushing Thunder Beast? Beast Taming King Guguju and the others were very surprised. But there were so many people here and everyone was saying the same thing. It couldn't be fake. The Supreme Elder's figure appeared in front of the Thunder Beast. He glanced at the wound on the beast's neck and immediately said, "Valley Master, it was indeed killed by that little fox." The claw mark was too unique. It was small and sharp. It was almost a scratch on the Thunder Beast's skin. What was more surprising was the accuracy of the attack. One had to know that the rushing Thunder Beast's speed was extremely fast. This little fox actually made it suffer this blow without being able to put up any resistance? This was simply inconceivable. The Great Elder looked at the silver fox in Luo Qingtong's arms. What kind of demonic beast was this? It looked harmless, but it was actually so powerful? Beast Tamer King Guguju and Fang Jingyu also looked at the silver fox in Luo Qingtong's arms. The moment she saw the silver fox, Fang Jingyu's eyes lit up. What a beautiful little silver fox. Fang Jingyu looked at the little silver fox. The little guy's posture was noble and elegant. He lay lazily in Luo Qingtong's arms, looking very petite and cute. However, the rushing Thunder Beast lying on the ground proved how powerful it was. She was not as soft and harmless as she looked. She wanted this silver fox. This thought flashed across Fang Jingyu's mind. The rushing Thunder Beast was dead. This birthday banquet was tantamount to losing her chance to contract a demonic beast. Unless Beast Tamer King Guguju found another demonic beast for her. However, this rushing Thunder Beast was already a Thunder-type demonic beast that had been carefully selected. Even if she found another demonic beast, it would not be stronger. It would only be weaker. But this silver fox was different. By killing this Thunder Beast, it had already proved that it was stronger than the Thunder Beast. Chapter 1874. Fang Jingyu felt that even if it wasn't a lightning-type beast, she would still be able to accept it. Only by bringing this silver fox out would she be able to reveal her identity. Which girl wouldn't want such a cute pet by her side? Domineering and cute? This little silver fox fit all of Fang Jingyu's requirements. Not to mention it was still young. When it grew up, its strength would be even more tyrannical. Fang Jingyu's heart was instantly moved. Her gaze was glued to Yinbao, who was transformed by Yi Qianren. Feeling her gaze, Luo Qingtong's eyes narrowed slightly, a cold light flashing in her eyes. What? The little princess of Beast Taming King Valley, Miss Jingyu, had taken a liking to Silver Bao? Luo Qingtong's gaze was slightly cold. Beast Taming King Guguju also frowned at Yi Qianxian's Silver Bao. This little fox had actually killed the Thunder Beast? Then there was no other way. Luo Qingtong and the others had obviously retaliated in self-defense. Beast Taming King Guguju couldn't blame them. Especially in front of so many people. Seeing the guests rushing over, Beast Taming King Guguju furrowed his brows and was about to speak. At this moment, Fang Jingyu's voice rang out. "You killed my contracted beast. How are you going to compensate me?" Hearing this, everyone looked at Fang Jingyu with a strange expression. What she said didn't seem right. It was clearly the Thunder Beast that had attacked Luo Qingtong and the others, and the latter had killed it to save their own lives. Why did she make it sound like Luo Qingtong and the others had intentionally killed her Thunder Beast? According to her, Luo Qingtong and the others deserved to stand there and wait for death? What kind of logic was this? Someone noticed Fang Jingyu's gaze on the silver fox and understood what was going on. It turned out that she had taken a liking to the girl's silver fox. The group of people felt some contempt in their hearts. But when they remembered that this was beast-taming King Valley's territory, they didn't say anything. Miss Jingyu? What do you mean? I don't understand. Hearing Fang Jingyu's words, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed. She sneered in her heart, sure enough they're here. She stared blankly in Fang Jingyu's direction. Her face was full of confusion and her voice was timid. She really didn't seem to understand what Fang Jingyu meant. Looking at the expression on her face, everyone around her shook their heads. It looked like she was still a naive girl. She didn't know Fang Jingyu had taken a fancy to the silver fox in her arms. Fang Jingyu was the daughter of the beast tamer King Guguju. Her silver fox was most likely going to be lost. Fang Jingyu retorted coldly, "You killed my contract beast, didn't you? Today is my birthday. Originally, I was going to form a contract with a demonic beast during my birthday party so that it would be convenient for me to go to the land of the deceased immortals. Now you've killed my contract beast. Tell me, what should I do?" Hearing this, Luo Qingtong's expression became even more confused. But it wanted to kill us first. That's why we fought back. Miss Jingyu, are you saying that you want us to stand there and die without fighting back? Fang Jingyu's expression darkened the moment she said those words. Although this was what she meant, Luo Qingtong said it so bluntly. She felt a little embarrassed. When did I say that? Chapter 1875. This rushing thunder beast attacked you. You could have shown mercy, but why did you have to kill it? Now that I don't have a contracted beast, shouldn't you be responsible? As soon as Fang Jingyu said this, everyone's expression changed. What a strange thing to say. Luo Qingtong and Yun Shi were only newly recruited trainees. With their abilities, they were not even a match for this thunder beast, let alone showing mercy to it, okay? If it had been that little silver fox, Luo Qingtong and Yun Shi would have become corpses lying on the ground. Under such circumstances, Fang Jingyu actually asked them to show mercy to this rushing thunder beast, and even said that they were too heavy-handed? This excuse was simply too shameless. Because this was the Beast Tamer Valley, and the Valley Master and the others were present, no one dared to say anything. But in their hearts they were cursing madly. Quite disdainful. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold. She looked at Fang Jingyu and asked weakly, "Then miss, you mean, first give me the little fox in your arms. I need a demonic beast to contract with so that I can participate in this trip to the fallen immortal land. As for you, since you didn't do it on purpose, I will ask Father to arrange another tyrannical demonic beast for you. Don't worry, that demonic beast won't be inferior to this little fox. When the time comes, I can ask Father to accept you as a disciple, and let you become a beast tamer. How about it?" Fang Jingyu's words were very shameless. She was so high and mighty that it was as if her plundering was a gift to Luo Qingtong. Not to mention other things, since Luo Qingtong could become an apprentice, it meant that she had the talent to become a beast tamer. Not to mention that she could control the little silver fox in her arms. Obviously, becoming a beast tamer in the future was something that was inevitable. With such talent, even if Fang Jingyu didn't plead for her, she would be the target of all the disciples of the elders. The beast tamer King Guguju and the others were no exception. Not to mention the silver fox and Luo Qingtong had grown up together. Their teamwork would be even better in the future. This little fox was still young. When it grew up in the future, how could its strength be compared to other demonic beasts? Fang Jingyu wanted to steal Luo Qingtong's silver fox, but she made it sound as if she had given Luo Qingtong a great gift. When everyone heard these words, they felt extremely strange in their hearts. Fang Jingyu was simply trying to take advantage of the innocent and naive girl in front of her. She wanted to benefit from it and make the girl feel grateful, right? If that young girl was really bewitched by her words and voluntarily handed over the little fox, then the matter of Fang Jingyu snatching a disciple's demonic beast would be cleared. Not only that, but it also made Luo Qingtong even more grateful to the beast-taming King Valley. In the future, he would be even more loyal to the beast-taming King Valley. Needless to say, even though this move was shameless, it was still beneficial for Fang Jingyu and the beast-taming King Valley. This Fang Jingyu was quite scheming. It was a pity for this young girl. Everyone looked at Luo Qingtong's innocent and naive face and sighed in their hearts. How could this young girl possibly win against Fang Jingyu? He was afraid that he would have to obediently offer up the silver fox in his arms. Chapter 1876. Thank you, Miss Jianghu, for being lenient with me. She looked at Fang Jingyu with a sincere expression, as if she was very touched by Fang Jingyu's words. However, the words lenient with me were spoken with a heavy tone, perhaps because she was too emotional or for some other reason. It sounded like she was mocking Fang Jingyu for some reason. Before anyone could think further, Luo Qingtong continued, "It's just that Yin Bao and I have depended on each other since we were young. I treat it like family, so I definitely can't lose it. But it's all right," she smiled at Fang Jingyu and said innocently, "Miss Jingyu is so nice. You actually didn't pursue what happened just now. Yin Bao and I thank you. As for the demon beast that's stronger than Yin Bao, you can keep it for yourself, miss. We did such a wrong thing, so we don't dare to receive Mrs. Favor. I'll just be with Yin Bao. In the future, I'll definitely cultivate by the Valley Master's side and live up to Mrs. expectations." As she spoke, her expression became more serious and grateful. Fang Jingyu was stunned when she heard this. Wait. She took a deep breath and looked at the young girl standing in front of her, thanking her happily. She couldn't react for a moment. What did you say? When did I say that I wouldn't pursue the matter? And she wanted to cultivate by her father's side and live up to her expectations? What the hell did she mean? Fang Jingyu couldn't wrap her head around it. Luo Qingtong looked at her with a face full of shock and confusion. Didn't you say so, miss? Seeing that we didn't do it on purpose, you can ask the Valley Master to find me a better demon beast. You can even ask the Valley Master to take me in as his disciple so that I can become a beast tamer in the future. But I only want Yin Bao. Luo Qingtong said calmly, so there's no need for the demon beast. Miss, you can keep it for yourself. I only want to become the Valley Master's disciple. After all, Miss has been so good to us and is so magnanimous. I can't push my luck. After Luo Qingtong finished speaking, Fang Jingyu was so angry that she couldn't speak. She couldn't push her luck? How was she not pushing her luck? She was simply advancing. What I'm saying is that if you give this little fox to me, I can ask my father to find you a better demonic beast and accept you as my disciple. Fang Jingyu gritted her teeth and said, "Are you misunderstanding something?" "I know." Luo Qingtong looked at her and nodded. "But didn't I tell you? Silver Bao is my family. I can't lose him. So, miss, I don't want the demonic beast that you exchanged with me. As for the Valley Master's teachings, I'll accept them. I won't let you down in the future." Luo Qingtong looked at Fang Jingtan with a serious expression. "Miss, did I say anything wrong?" Fang Jingyu choked on her words the moment they left her mouth. Did Luo Qingtong say anything wrong? No. She wanted him to give her the little fox, and then she would arrange a better demonic beast for him and her father to teach him. If Luo Qingtong was not willing, then she did not want the demonic beast. She only wanted the Valley Master's guidance. She wanted to live up to her expectations. What could she say? Logically speaking, there was no problem at all. But Fang Jingyu's original intention was to get Luo Qingtong to give her the little fox. Only then could she get these things. Her original intention was to give alms and clear her name. But Luo Qingtong interpreted it as an equivalent exchange. Chapter 1877. No way. Fang Jingyu took a deep breath and realized that she had accidentally fallen into a trap. If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have tried to show her magnanimity by telling Luo Qingtong, since they didn't do it on purpose. Now, her own words had turned the tables on her. Fang Jingyu stood there and took a few deep breaths before she was able to calm the resentment in her heart. What if I insist on taking that little fox in your arms? She looked coldly at Luo Qingtong. She couldn't control the emotions in her eyes. Originally, she had only offered to compensate Luo Qingtong for the sake of her and beast-taming King Valley's reputation. She didn't think that Luo Qingtong would use it against her. Fang Jingyu's eyes were cold. She didn't care if Luo Qingtong was really innocent or not. But this little fox, she must have it. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu suddenly took a step forward. Seeing this, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed with a cold light, mocking her. You want to snatch it by force? Miss, you must be joking, right? She looked in Fang Jingyu's direction with a shocked expression, then hugged the little silver fox tightly in her arms and said nervously, Miss, you're such a good person. You didn't even pursue the matter of us killing the Thunder Beast. Why would you snatch my silver treasure? She turned to beast-taming King Guguju and the others and said, Valley Master, I don't want to be your disciple, and I don't want the credit for exposing the Celestial Palace. Can you just let silver treasure stay by my side? I can't live without it. When Luo Qingtong said this, beast-taming King Gu Guzhu and the others' expressions froze. Jinyu. He called out to Fang Jinyu and swept his gaze across the crowd of onlookers. There were too many people here. If Luo Qingtong was just an ordinary apprentice, it would have been fine. But if he had stolen her silver fox, then so be it. No one would say anything about it. However, it just so happened that Luo Qingtong stood up and exposed the Celestial Palace's conspiracy. To the beast-taming King Valley, she had made a contribution. At this time, if Fang Jinyu were to snatch away her little fox, it would only cause others to look down on her, and the other disciples of the beast-taming King's Valley would be bitterly disappointed. After all, if they couldn't obtain protection even if they made contributions, then who would stand out when the sect was in trouble in the future? Moreover, if this matter were to spread out, Fang Jinyu and the beast-taming King's Valley's reputation would be tarnished. Plundering by force and plundering meritorious officials were two different things. The former would only show that Luo Qingtong was incompetent, while the beast-taming King Valley's tyranny would only increase their prestige. However, the latter would be considered ungrateful and would be despised by others. With that thought in mind, the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu had no choice but to speak up to stop Fang Jinyu. Although he really wanted Fang Jinyu to get the silver fox, he didn't want her to. Father. Being stopped by the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu, Fang Jinyu's face was full of unwillingness. However, she also knew that at this time she couldn't force it. This woman really knew how to use a chicken feather as an arrow. Didn't she just expose the Celestial Palace's conspiracy? She actually used this as a threat to make him unable to touch her. Fang Jinyu gritted her teeth. She knew that she had to solve this problem today. Otherwise, in front of so many people, these guests who came to attend the banquet would all know that she wanted to snatch Luo Qingtong's little fox. This way, even if she managed to snatch the little fox behind everyone's backs, she would still be able to do so. Everyone also knew what was going on. Her reputation would still be bad if word got out. Chapter 1878. At this time, Fang Jinyu regretted it. If she had known, she wouldn't have been so impulsive. She was angered by this woman's words. If she hadn't fallen into her trap, she wouldn't have lost her mind and tried to snatch it in front of so many people. Wouldn't it be better to wait until they left and then do it herself? Who would know what she did to Luo Qingtong? Thinking of this, Fang Jinyu's heart was vexed. She frowned and looked at Luo Qingtong, saying coldly, "Who said I wanted to snatch your little fox? As the daughter of the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu, what kind of demon beast can't I want? Why would I snatch your little fox? I just saw that you just made a contribution and this little fox's strength isn't weak, so I thought of letting you let me contract it. At the same time, I'm giving you a chance. Since you're not willing, then forget it." After saying that, she turned and prepared to leave. Luo Qingtong looked at her back as she left, ignoring the gazes of others. She hugged Yi Qianxian and prepared to leave. She didn't intend to stay in the beast-tamer King's Valley for long. If these people wanted to make things difficult for her, then they could just come. It would be best if they wanted to help Fang Jinyu vent her anger and transfer her to the side of the higher-ups. This way she would have more opportunities to inquire about the book. Luo Qingtong couldn't ask for more. She hugged the little silver fox that Yi Qianren had transformed into and prepared to leave. At this moment she suddenly felt a sharp mental strength attack her. Or rather, it attacked Yi Qianxian in her arms. It was Fang Jinyu's mental strength. Luo Qingtong instantly sensed the source of this mental strength, and a bloody light flashed in her eyes. Since she couldn't do it openly, she decided to do it secretly? No wonder she left so decisively. Luo Qingtong looked at Fang Jinyu's face and was very unwilling. She originally thought that she would have to fight with her for a while. She had already thought of how to deal with her. Unexpectedly, the other party suddenly retreated. Luo Qingtong was a little surprised. So he was waiting for her here. Luo Qingtong's expression was calm when she sensed the mental power piercing into Yi Qianxian's mind. She was indescribably pleased and her eyebrows didn't even twitch. "You want to force Yi Qianxian into a contract?" First of all, Yi Qianxian was not a real demon beast. Even if it was, with its strength, would Fang Jinyu want to force a contract with it? What a joke. Luo Qingtong didn't even pay attention to this spiritual force, as if she didn't notice it at all. She just continued walking forward with Yi Qianxian in her arms. Behind her, the beast-tamer King Gu Guzhu and the others also felt this mental energy, and their expressions changed. Fang Jinyu cultivated the beast-taming King Valley's strongest beast-taming art. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to detect this mental strength she sent out. Even the majority of the people in the Beast Tamer King Valley couldn't detect it. Under such circumstances, only the upper echelons of the Beast Taming King Valley could sense the spiritual force she emitted. They felt the mental strength rushing towards Yi Qianxian, as if it wanted to force a contract with the little fox. Although the higher-ups of the Beast Tamer King Valley were a little surprised, they didn't say anything. Fang Jingyu's method wasn't very glorious. But the higher-ups of the Beast Tamer King Valley had watched her grow up, and she was the daughter of the Valley Master. Everyone naturally stood on her side. Chapter 1879. As for Luo Qingtong, she was just an ordinary disciple. Although she had some talent in their eyes, she couldn't compare to Fang Jingyu. Since the other party wanted the little fox so badly, as long as it wasn't discovered by outsiders, the Beast Taming King's Valley would lose face and they would turn a blind eye to it. The upper echelons of Beast Taming Valley didn't say anything, only watching as the spiritual force attacked Yi Qianxian. As for Fang Jingyu, who had turned around and pretended to leave, she was actually using the aura of the beast taming art that she cultivated to forcefully contract Yi Qianming. A smug smile appeared on her face. Luo Qingtong thought that she could stop her by using a chicken feather as an arrow. In reality, the entire beast taming valley was on her side. As long as she could successfully contract that little fox and make it run to her, who would dare say that she snatched the other party's little fox? As for Luo Qingtong, she wouldn't have anything to say. When the time came, she'd just have to watch her little fox stay by her side and see how heartbroken she'd be. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu sneered. Her spiritual force pierced into Yi Qianxian's mind. Sensing the spiritual force entering his mind, Yi Qianxian's face turned cold and he snorted. Boom. In its mind, an extremely violent and vast mental energy, like a landslide or a tsunami, suddenly burst out. It immediately followed the mental energy that had pierced into its mind and blasted out. In an instant. Ah! In the sky above Beast Taming Valley, a sharp cry rang out. Fang Jingyu screamed as she hugged her head, rolling violently on the ground. Large pools of blood flowed out of her eyes, nose and ears, soaking the ground. It was an indescribable ghastly sight. What's going on? The onlookers were shocked. They watched as Fang Jingyu turned around and left. Then she fell to the ground and ended up in her current miserable state. Who dared to attack Fang Jingyu in Beast Taming Valley? And in front of Beast Taming King Guguju and the others? Were none of them aware of it? Everyone's faces were filled with astonishment. The expressions of Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others changed drastically. Jingyu? They rushed to Fang Jingyu's side and helped her up. My mental strength has been completely crushed. Even his foundation has been destroyed. After the Supreme Elder examined Fang Jingyu's body, his expression turned grim. Fang Jingyu's mental strength had been completely destroyed. Putting everything else aside, it would be impossible for her to become a beast tamer again, and it would be impossible for her to form a contract with another demonic beast. Bastard. The beast tamer King Guguju was furious. He angrily looked in the direction of Luo Qingtong and abruptly flicked his sleeves, shouting sternly, "Stop her for me!" Fang Jingyu had been forced to contract with the Silver Fox, so this incident must have had something to do with him. Beast Tamer King Guguju's voice rang out. Instantly, everyone's expression became even more shocked. What was going on? How did this have anything to do with Luo Qingtong? Some of the smarter ones had already guessed the general truth of the matter. It seemed that Fang Jingyu was unwilling to give up and wanted to make a move on that girl, and even the Silver Fox, but an accident happened. Everyone recalled the tyrannical beast taming art in Beast Taming Valley. Chapter 1880. For this reason, the hierarchy in Beast Taming Valley was very strict. The beast taming art that the Beast Taming King Valley Master and the others cultivated was different from the Beast Taming King Valley's beast taming art. It seemed that Fang Jingyu had tried to forcibly contract the Silver Fox and failed. That was why she had ended up like this. No wonder she turned around and left so decisively just now. She had been planning to secretly steal the Silver Fox, but for some unknown reason she had suffered a backlash. While everyone was thinking this, the people from Beast Taming King Valley had already stopped Luo Qingtong, who had walked a short distance away, and brought her back. Luo Qingtong didn't resist. When Fang Jingyu made her move, she knew something like this would happen. She really didn't want to cause trouble, but if someone kept coming to seek death, what could she do? Fang Jingyu was looking for death and she couldn't stop her. She could only deal with it as it came. If things didn't work out, then she would just leave. Next time she would think of a way to investigate. But this was too troublesome. It wasn't easy to get some information about what happened in the past. If possible, Luo Qingtong didn't want to leave like this. Thinking of this, she looked at beast-taming King Guguju and the others with surprise and vigilance. She said, "Valley Master Elders, what are you doing? Didn't you say you wouldn't try to steal my silver fox again?" As she spoke, she hugged Yi Qianxian tightly. Her body was faintly trembling and she looked very scared. But she still had the courage to argue with Guguju and the others. Seeing this, beast-taming King Guguju and the others frowned. She wasn't the one who did this? Jingyu was just ambushed. As a beast-taming master, she lost her most important mental strength. "Did you do this?" Beast-taming King Guguju coldly said, his cold eyes looking at Luo Qingtong. "Meh." Luo Qingtong froze, then shook her head. "How is that possible? If I had that kind of strength, I would have already killed those people who were chasing after me. And I wouldn't have caused my loved ones to die for me." As she spoke, her face was filled with grievance and disappointment. At the same time, she was a little angry. She looked at the beast-tamer King Guguju and the others and pursed her lips. "I know you want to help Miss Jingyu snatch my silver treasure. In any case, I can't resist you. You don't have to deliberately frame me. Just kill me and take silver treasure. Otherwise, as long as I'm alive, I'll never give silver bow away." Luo Qingtong's voice rang out. In an instant, everyone's expression changed. Was this all a show put on by beast-tamer King Guguju and the others? Was Fang Jingyu really innocent? Was she just trying to slander the girl and steal the silver fox from her? If that was the case, then wouldn't beast-tamer King Guguju and the others be too shameless? To deal with an apprentice disciple, especially one who had contributed greatly to the beast-tamer valley, was there a need to use such dirty and disgusting methods? Even the disciples of the beast-taming King Valley were looking at the beast-taming King Valley master and the others in confusion. The latter and the others felt the strange gazes from all around them and their expressions turned ugly. At the same time, they were also very confused. Could it be that they had really wronged Luo Qingtong? But Fang Jingyu really did have an accident when she was trying to force a contract with the silver fox. Chapter 1881. Beast-tamer King Guguju's face darkened as he said coldly, "Whether it was you or not, I'll find out once I try." As he spoke, he released his spiritual power, intending to forcefully contract Yi Qianxian in Luo Qingtong's arms. He wanted to see what was going on. Yi Qianren's eyes turned cold when she felt the attack of his mental strength. She wanted to destroy his mental strength just like how she dealt with Fang Jingyu. But at this moment, Luo Qingtong's mind flashed as she had a good idea. Perhaps this could be a blessing in disguise. "Qianren, defend. Don't touch it." Luo Qingtong's voice directly entered Yi Qianxian's mind. Yi Qianren's eyes flashed as he was about to blast out the vast and powerful mental strength in his mind. He immediately withdrew the mental strength that he was about to blast out. At the same time, he firmly guarded his mind, preventing Guguju's spiritual power from entering. Beast-tamer King Guguju's spiritual power lingered around the silver fox's head, but it was unable to enter, let alone forcefully contract it. Seeing this, beast-tamer King Guguju's face was filled with shock. He was a supreme sage and his spiritual power was incomparably strong. Under such circumstances, he was unable to contract the silver fox. This was simply impossible. The only explanation was that Luo Qingtong was also a beast-tamer. Not only that, but her contract with the silver fox was of a very high level. That was why she was able to resist his spiritual power, preventing him from forcefully contracting it. This would explain why Fang Jingyu had suffered a backlash from forcefully contracting the silver fox. It was the same in Beast-Tamer Valley. A high-level beast-tamer could forcefully contract a lower-level beast-tamer's contracted beast. But if a lower-level beast-tamer tried to attack a higher-level beast-tamer's contracted beast, he would suffer a backlash. The lower-level beast-tamer's spiritual power would be destroyed in an instant. Because he was strong and had a strong spiritual power, he was fine. But Jingyu was different. She had forced herself to contract with the silver fox, which was why she had suffered a backlash. The beast-tamer King Guguju thought that he had found the truth. He looked at Luo Qingtong in amazement. He didn't expect that she was also a beast-tamer. Moreover, the beast-tamer secret art she practiced was obviously not ordinary. It was even better than the beast-taming art that he cultivated. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to resist his forceful contract. Beast Tamer King Guguju was still amazed when he suddenly heard Luo Qingtong say, "Hurry up. Didn't you want to try it?" She looked angry and stubborn. "In any case, you guys are just looking for an excuse to attack me. Just find one. It doesn't matter. I can't resist anyway." As she spoke, her face was filled with indescribable cynicism and anger. Beast Tamer King Guguju looked at her expression and a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. "You don't know that you're a beast tamer?" He looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "What? This girl was actually a beast tamer?" Everyone in the surroundings was shocked. They all looked at Luo Qingtong. The people of Beast Tamer Valley were also very surprised, especially the higher-ups of Beast Tamer Valley. Beast Tamer King Guguju's action just now was seen by them. It was obvious that the Valley Master had used his spiritual power to forcefully contract with the Silver Fox. Chapter 1882. Everyone's expression was very surprised. At this time the Supreme Elder suddenly made a move. His spiritual power suddenly spread out from his mind and pierced towards Yi Qianxian. After hearing Luo Qingtong's words, Yi Qianxian was too lazy to pay attention to him. He only defended his mind to prevent the other party from invading it. The Supreme Elder's spiritual power lingered around him for a long time before he finally withdrew it. She is indeed a beast tamer. Moreover, the beast taming art that she cultivates is very unusual. He sent a voice transmission to the people around him. His eyes seemed to be shining as he looked at Luo Qingtong. "What beast tamer? What are you talking about?" Luo Qingtong frowned and looked at them in surprise. "I haven't started cultivating the beast taming art yet." The expression on her face was very decent. "Don't slander me so casually. I didn't steal the beast taming art of your beast taming King Valley." She looked at the beast taming King Guguju and the others with an angry expression. These people were really too much. First, they slandered her for attacking Fang Jinyu. Now, they slandered her for stealing their beast taming King Valley's beast taming art. Could they be more shameless? Luo Qingtong's expression at this moment was just like the above. Beast taming King Guguju and the Supreme Elder looked at her with a strange expression. Stealing the beast taming art of their beast taming King Valley? The beast taming art that she cultivates is obviously more advanced than theirs. What's there to steal? However, the other party really didn't seem to know that she was a beast tamer. Not only that, it seems that she didn't know anything about her own cultivation method. This is troublesome. The two of them thought so and suddenly looked at each other and frowned. According to the thoughts of the beast taming King Valley and the Supreme Elder, since Luo Qingtong was a beast tamer and cultivated such a powerful beast taming art, they naturally wanted the other party to hand over the beast taming art. However, Luo Qingtong obviously didn't know that she was a beast tamer, let alone the beast taming art. How can they make her hand it over? The two of them were very depressed. "You really don't know that you're a beast tamer?" The beast tamer King Guguju asked her with a solemn expression. Luo Qingtong was stunned when she heard that. She looked at the beast tamer King Guguju, then at the great elder. She pointed at herself with a shocked expression and said, "I am really a beast tamer? Silver Bao has been so obedient to me since he was young because it's your contracted beast." Beast tamer King Guguju said. "So that's the case?" Luo Qingtong was in disbelief. No wonder they wanted to kill me," she murmured as if she had thought of something, and her eyes reddened. The Supreme Elder and the beast tamer King Guguju looked at each other. They roughly knew that the other party was talking about her being hunted down before. Regarding Luo Qingtong's information and experience, when she stood out in the main hall to testify against Yun Yen and the Celestial Palace, the beast tamer King Guguju and the Supreme Elder already knew. Now that they heard Luo Qingtong's murmur, their eyes lit up. She really did have a secret, and it was clearly related to the beast taming art she cultivated. In an instant, the two of them reached a consensus. They first comforted Luo Qingtong. Her situation was a bit special. Chapter 1883. Fortunately, they didn't go too far with the matter. There was still room to salvage the situation. Beast tamer King Guguju and Grand Elder's expressions changed slightly as they nodded to each other. Beast tamer King Guguju said to Luo Qingtong, "This is a misunderstanding. Jianghu is in trouble. We were anxious and accidentally wronged you. This is our fault." Beast tamer King Guguju was very clear. Luo Qingtong's beast tamer art was more powerful than theirs. They couldn't let her know. Otherwise she would immediately know that they had ulterior motives. Moreover, Fang Jingyu became like this because she wanted to force a contract with the Silver Fox. That was even more unspeakable. Therefore this matter could only be an accident. They couldn't have the slightest connection with Luo Qingtong. He continued to say to Luo Qingtong, as compensation, you will cultivate with me from now on. I will personally teach you about beast tamer art. I will let you improve your strength to the best of your ability. If he placed her by his side to guide her, even if she didn't know what cultivation method he was cultivating, he would still have the opportunity to see some clues from her cultivation and attacks, right? Beast tamer King Guguju had this idea in mind. As he was speaking, a sharp voice suddenly rang out at this moment. Oh. Fang Jingyu had already woken up from her coma. Her face was in a sorry state. When she found out that her spiritual power had been destroyed and that she could no longer contract with demon beasts and become a beast tamer, she was about to go crazy. When she heard beast tamer King Guguju's words, she almost went crazy. Luo Qingtong caused her to become like this. Her father still wanted to take her as a disciple and let her be his personal teacher? He even said that her matter was just an accident? He even apologized to this slut and said that it was their fault. Fang Jingyu didn't know that the beast-taming King Guguju and the others had already found out that the beast-taming art in Luo Qingtong's body was very powerful. They had other intentions behind this arrangement. Hearing this, she almost went crazy on the spot. She screamed and crawled up from the ground. Facing the beast-tamer King Guguju, she shouted, I don't agree. What right does she have to cultivate by your side? Fang Jingyu still had a shred of rationality left in her. She didn't mention that she had attacked Luo Qingtong and ended up being crippled. But even so, the way she looked at Luo Qingtong was as if she wanted to eat her up. I don't agree. Shut up. The beast-tamer King Guguju's expression turned cold. Of course, he was heartbroken that his daughter had become like this. But compared to his own strength, it was not worth mentioning at all. He must obtain Luo Qingtong's beast-taming incantation. He could not let Fang Jingyu ruin his plans. Shut up. It was you who wanted to snatch Nitai's little silver fox that caused this misunderstanding. Now that your spiritual power has been crippled, you don't even know how to regret it. You're simply unreasonable. He said coldly. Father. Fang Jingyu looked at the beast-tamer King Guguju in disbelief. He actually scolded her. And in front of so many people. What was going on? How could this be? Just as she was in disbelief, the Grand Elder's voice rang out at this moment. Your father is right. Jingyu, you were in the wrong before. Chapter 1884. This is also our compensation to her. Don't question it. The Grand Elder's words contained a hidden warning. In an instant, Fang Jingyu's eyes widened. Beast tamer? The other party was actually a beast tamer? She finally knew how her mental strength had been crippled. It wasn't because something on Luo Qingtong's body had done something to her. Instead, it was because she had failed to forcefully form a contract? Fang Jingyu's figure staggered back 2 steps. Beast tamer King Guguju and the Grand Elder's attitude made her understand that Luo Qingtong, this beast tamer, was definitely not simple. She was afraid that the beast tamer art she cultivated was extremely powerful. That was why the two of them were so protective of her. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's heart was completely unable to accept it. The other party had caused her to be in this state, and in the end she actually had to respect her and stay away from her? Even if it was only temporary, she still couldn't. Her heart was filled with extreme hatred. Both her hands were fiercely pinching her palms as she coldly said, even if it's like this, she can't completely break the rules. New official disciples must enter the Beast Garden to serve for a month. Even if I'm wrong this time, she should enter the Beast Garden to serve for a few days. Otherwise, wouldn't it be unfair to the other disciples? The Beast Garden, the contracted demonic beasts of the Beast Tamer King's Valley were all locked up inside. Working there was simply a hard job. Generally speaking, the disciples who had caught the eye of the various elders would only go through the motions when they entered the sect. Only the other ordinary new official disciples needed to do things inside. It was dirty and messy inside, the demonic beasts were wild, and sometimes even accidents would happen. Fang Jingyu knew that Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest would definitely not let anything happen to Luo Qingtong inside. But this didn't mean that she couldn't teach her a lesson. Anyway, it was fine as long as she didn't kill her. In short, she wasn't willing to let Luo Qingtong off so easily. Alright. Knowing Fang Jingyu's thoughts, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the rest nodded and didn't continue to refuse. First of all, they didn't really want to protect Luo Qingtong. Instead, they wanted to obtain her beast-taming secret art from her. Secondly, Fang Jingyu's mental strength had been crippled. There was no way they wouldn't let her vent her anger. In the end, if it wasn't for Luo Qingtong's special situation where she didn't know that he was a beast tamer and didn't know his beast tamer technique, Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others wouldn't have been so polite to her. They had already found a crime to arrest her and interrogate her under torture. After all, Fang Jingyu was on their side and Luo Qingtong was just an outsider. Since she had offended the other party, the Beast Tamer King Guguju and the others naturally wouldn't let her off. Just like just now, if Luo Qingtong hadn't exposed her identity as a Beast Tamer King Guguju might have crippled her on the spot. He didn't care if Fang Jingyu was the one who brought this upon herself. Night-eye. This has always been the rule of our beast-taming King Valley. Every official disciple has to enter the beast garden to serve at the beginning. After Beast Tamer King Guguju agreed, he looked at Luo Qingtong and said, "Although I'll compensate you and let you enter my sect, you still have to abide by the rules. How about this? You don't have to enter for a month. You can enter for 7 days. How about it?" Beast Tamer King Guguju naturally wouldn't let Luo Qingtong enter for a month. Chapter 1885. How much time would this waste? 7 days was already the limit he could accept. However, his words were very skillful. In other people's ears it sounded like he was thinking for Luo Qingtong, so he reduced the time. If it was someone else, they might be deeply grateful to him and be dead set on following him. But the one standing here was Luo Qingtong. She sneered as she looked at the Beast Tamer King Guguju acting, but she didn't care. The other party wanted to use her and she also wanted to use the other party. Luo Qingtong couldn't be bothered to continue entangling with Fang Jingyu. "Okay, thank you, Valley Master." Luo Qingtong pretended to be very happy. The Beast Tamer King Guguju nodded in satisfaction. The other party was very naive, which was very good. Thinking about it, it wouldn't be long before he could find out the secret of her Beast Tamer art from the other party. In the end, the birthday party ended up in a mess and desolation. Fang Jingyu became the biggest joke. During the birthday banquet, the demonic beast she was supposed to contract died. Not only that, her spiritual power was also crippled. In the future, it would be impossible for her to contract demonic beasts and become a beast tamer. In the Beast Tamer King Valley, if she couldn't become a beast tamer, it meant that her status would drop. Even if Fang Jingyu was the daughter of the Valley Master, she found that the gazes of the people around her were not right. In the past, these people looked at her with envy and respect. Now they were all gloating and complacent. The only respect left was not directed at her. It was because she had the Valley Master as her father. Bang! In the room, Fang Jingyu ruthlessly smashed the furnishings in her room. She angrily looked at the maid beside her like a ferocious demon. "Where's that bitch? Did she go to the beast garden?" Fang Jingyu was very angry in her heart. She had become like this all because of Luo Qingtong. Wait until she went to the beast garden, see how she would deal with her. Already prepared to go. Do you want me to rush her?" The maids serving Fang Jingyu were very submissive. After Fang Jingyu's mental strength was crippled, she became extremely temperamental. She was suffering unspeakably and desperately wanted to escape from this place. "Go." Fang Jingyu's voice was cold. "When she gets there, come back and tell me immediately. Also, call the manager of the beast garden over. At that time she would definitely let Luo Qingtong have a good taste of it." "Yes." The maid hurriedly left. At this time in Luo Qingtong's room, she looked at the girl in front of her. "You're leaving?" Yunxi had come to say goodbye to her. She wanted to leave Beast Taming King Valley and return home. "Yes." Yunxi nodded. The girl in white was very pure and beautiful. She looked helpless and helpless. "I can't stay here anymore." After the birthday party, all kinds of people came to make trouble for her. Yunxi knew that it was because she had stood up for Luo Qingtong at the birthday party. Previously, these were all good things and they were things that could make her proud. But after Luo Qingtong offended Fang Jingyu, these things became reasons for others to deal with her. Those people didn't dare to deal with Luo Qingtong, but they wanted to curry favor with Fang Jingyu, so they could only deal with her. However, Yunxi didn't blame Luo Qingtong. After all, it was her own choice to stand up for Luo Qingtong. Chapter 1886. Okay. Luo Qingtong nodded. She probably knew why Yunshi couldn't stay any longer. It was most likely because of what happened between her and Fang Jingyu. I've implicated you this time. Plans couldn't keep up with changes. Luo Qingtong didn't expect so many things to happen at a birthday party. But it was good that the other party left. After all, she didn't know what would happen next. Luo Qingtong didn't care, but Yunshi might lose her life in the future if she got involved with her. She handed a black package to Yunshi. Take this and open it when you get home. What Luo Qingtong gave Yunshi was the Beast Taming King Valley manual that she found on Han Dong's body when she killed him. People who didn't have the talent to be a beast tamer couldn't practice this book. But Yunshi had it. Luo Qingtong gave this to her, which made up for her regret of being expelled by the people of the Beast Taming Valley. After all, Han Dong was the disciple of the Beast Taming Valley's Guguju. He was a core disciple of the Beast Taming Valley. The beast taming cultivation method that he cultivated was the best kind. If Yunshi had stayed in the Beast Taming Valley, even if the elders took a fancy to her, the level of the beast taming technique she practiced would never be as good as the one Luo Qingtong found on Han Dong. Of course, the one on Han Dong wasn't complete. But Luo Qingtong had the blood eyes and she had already made up for it. In addition, she gave Yunshi some pills for improvement. It could also be considered as repaying her for helping him before but being implicated. Luo Qingtong handed these things to Yunshi. Yunshi didn't know what these things were and she didn't want them at first. But Luo Qingtong said that she would regret it if she didn't want them. She hesitated for a moment, then accepted them. She didn't have much time to spend with Luo Qingtong. But Yunshi felt that the other party had a majesty in her words and actions, which made people subconsciously want to obey her orders and believe in her. You must not be an ordinary person, right? She looked at Luo Qingtong. Someone from a first-rate sect? She asked tentatively. Luo Qingtong looked at her with a faint smile. No, I am someone from the true Spill Continent's mortal world. How is this possible? Yunshi rolled her eyes. She didn't believe her at all. Forget it. If you don't want to tell me, I won't ask you. Thinking that Luo Qingtong didn't want to reveal her identity and origin, Yunshi didn't ask any more questions. She took the black bag and stood up. Be careful, Fang Jingyu definitely won't let you off easily. Don't worry when you go to the Beast Garden. Okay. Luo Qingtong nodded. Then she felt a little helpless. She was speechless that no one believed her when she told the truth. Yunshi left the Beast Taming King's Valley on the same day. Because she had already received orders, no one stopped her when she left. Otherwise, with her talent among the new disciples that was not weak, it was reasonable to say that she would not be allowed to leave. But those who had bullied Yunshi had intended to force Yunshi away. They wanted to take revenge on Luo Qingtong, and it would be too late for her to regret. Thus, Yunshi easily left the Beast Taming King Valley. After Yunshi left, Luo Qingtong also entered the Beast Garden. This is the Beast Garden. From now on, you will eat and live here for 7 days. Take care of these demonic beasts. Luo Qingtong was led into a huge garden by the steward of the Beast Garden. Rather than a garden, it was better to call it a huge plain. There was a fence inside and the fences formed a circle. The trees used to make the fence soared into the sky. Chapter 1887. These demonic beasts had blood-red eyes and were in an abnormally violent state. After Luo Qingtong and the steward entered, many demonic beasts roared violently. Even more demonic beasts crazily rammed against the fences, as if they wanted to escape. The scene was extremely frightening. Luo Qingtong followed the steward to a garden where top-level saint beasts were locked up. The demonic beasts inside were extremely violent and were at least at the Saint Emperor realm. They were all contracted beasts of the upper echelons of the Beast Taming King Valley. As these contracted beasts roared loudly, the violent aura around them spread outwards along with their roars. With this kind of strength and power, the slightest carelessness could easily kill any disciple standing in front of them. Generally speaking, those who came to take care of these demonic beasts were the stronger core disciples of the Beast Taming King Valley. For example, new disciples like Luo Qingtong who had just entered the Beast Taming King Valley would usually take care of the contracted beasts of the disciples below them. But at this moment, Luo Qingtong was brought to this top-level beast garden by the steward of the Beast Garden. All of this should not have been in accordance with the rules. At this moment, the steward of the Beast Garden was looking at Luo Qingtong with a complacent expression, waiting for her to make a fool of herself and reveal an ugly expression as she begged for mercy. However, he was destined to be disappointed. Luo Qingtong only swept a glance at these demonic beasts and directly stepped into the garden. His actions were so direct and efficient that the manager of the beast garden was stunned when he saw it. Could it be that she didn't know that the strength of the demonic beasts in this garden was not something that she could challenge? Thinking of this, the steward of the beast garden suddenly said loudly, "The demonic beasts in this garden are all at the Saint Emperor realm and above. Under normal circumstances, they are all taken care of by the core disciples. Since you are the Valley Master's last disciple, you are naturally different from the rest. You should be able to deal with these demonic beasts, right?" He deliberately said this for Luo Qingtong to hear, to let her know how terrifying these demonic beasts were. However, Luo Qingtong only glanced at him indifferently and did not react at all, directly walking into the garden. "Bastard." The steward's expression was flustered and exasperated. He did not believe that Luo Qingtong was not afraid. He wanted to see how she would piss her pants in terror when she came out later. However, he waited outside for a long time and did not even see Luo Qingtong's shadow. In the end, he had no choice but to leave in a flustered and exasperated. And after Luo Qingtong entered the garden, she started to wander around. Yi Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong and Luo Qingtong. Luo 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 Qingtong's Luo Qingtong. Luo 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 Qingtong, Luo's Luo Qingtong, Luo Qingtong, Luo 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 Tong, to Luo 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 Qingtong Luo Luo. Luo on to Luo. Yi Qianming, who had turned into Silver Bao, called out softly. That was because the one standing here was this woman. If it was anyone else, no matter how talented they were, they would have been scared to death in the face of so many ferocious demonic beasts. They would have cried and screamed to leave this place. By then, Fang Jingyu would be in for a good show. Furthermore, the other party would definitely have other moves. Chapter 1888. Haha, it's fine. Luo Qingtong hugged it and kissed it. Then she put it down and said with a calm and satisfied expression, "Let her play however she wants. Let's just take it as a good trip to relax." She and Yi Qianming hadn't been alone like this for a long time. In this beast garden, apart from those wild and unsightly contracted beasts, the scenery was quite beautiful. Since Fang Jingyu wanted to deal with her, then she would anger her to death. "Ow." Yi Qianming responded softly and didn't pay much attention. At this moment, Fang Jingyu received the report and broke the armrest in her hand. "What did you say?" She didn't react at all? Not scared? Scared? Fang Jingyu's face was filled with anger. She brought Luo Qingtong over so that she could embarrass her and teach her a lesson. How could the other party not react at all? Fang Jingyu's face was filled with rage. She didn't hold back at all as the aura in her body exploded out. "All right, Jingyu." Seeing the trembling body of the beast garden manager who came to report, the beast tamer King Gu Guju blocked her aura with a solemn expression. "You shouldn't be in a hurry to deal with her at this time." The her he was referring to was naturally Luo Qingtong. "Wait until we get the beast tamer spell in her body. Then you can do whatever you want with her. Why make things difficult for her now?" He frowned. "But I can't stand it, father." Fang Jingyu clenched her fingers. "Who knows when you'll get the beast tamer spell in her body? Moreover, who knew if Luo Qingtong's strength would become even more powerful with the help of the beast tamer spell? At that time, who would be more important, the daughter of the Valley Master whose mental strength had been crippled, or Luo Qingtong, the beast tamer master with unlimited potential? At that time, her father might not even bear to hurt Luo Qingtong. Thinking of this, Fang Jingyu's heart was filled with hatred. The most painful thing in the world was that your enemy was right beside you, but you couldn't kill her directly. "Father, my spiritual power has already been crippled. Don't you even give me a chance to vent?" Fang Jingyu cried. "I just want to teach her a lesson. Aren't you going to let me do this?" "Forget it, do as you wish." The beast tamer King Gu Guju looked at Fang Jingyu's tear-stained face and frowned. He was also furious that his daughter's spiritual power had been crippled. However, for the sake of Luo Qingtong's beast-taming incantation, he had no choice but to endure. If his daughter wants to teach him a lesson, then so be it. At most, they could just watch from the side. Rush out at the critical moment and don't let Luo Qingtong die. At that time, he might even be able to receive an even stronger gratitude from her. It was very useful for their future plans. He nodded at Fang Jingyu. "Good. Thank you, father." Fang Jingyu's tears turned into a smile, but the coldness in her eyes was unusually cold. She only wanted to teach Luo Qingtong a lesson. However, if the other party died because of this, she couldn't be blamed, right? Thinking of this, she turned to look at the steward of the beast garden and said, "Did you hear what my father said? You should know what to do, right? Knight, I want to see her appear in front of me in tears. Don't be afraid of killing her." Her words had a double meaning. My father and the others will save her, HM? Her expression was fierce. Chapter 1889. As for Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianren, after strolling around the beast garden for a while, they started taking care of these demonic beasts. To put it bluntly, they were innocent. Since Luo Qingtong was here, she wouldn't ignore them and let them starve and freeze. At the same time, she could also relax her mood. Since she came to this world, she hadn't really let go of her heart and enjoy anything. With Yi Qianming by her side and the 9-layer exquisite pagoda in her body, Luo Qingtong wasn't afraid of anything happening in the beast garden. "Qianming, give me that handkerchief." Luo Qingtong prepared food for the beasts. After she stirred all the food and prepared it, she asked Yi Qianming to give her a handkerchief to wipe her sweat. The latter walked beside her with his head held high and originally didn't want to pay attention to her. But when he saw the faint sweat on her forehead, he stopped in his tracks and suddenly appeared in front of a clean handkerchief. He bit the handkerchief and dragged it down. However, his body was small, and just as he dragged the handkerchief down, Yi Qianming was wrapped up by the handkerchief. The round figure rolled in the air and fell into the grass in an instant. When Luo Qingtong heard the sound, she saw him struggling desperately in the handkerchief. Pfft. Luo Qingtong looked at him and couldn't help but laugh. This man was really... Luo Qingtong tried hard to suppress the laughter in her heart and quickly ran over to rescue Yi Qianming from the handkerchief that was tightly wrapped around him. The latter's cute fox face was black from the moment he came out. Yi Qianming felt that all the dignity and coldness in his life had been destroyed by this demon fox blood curse. After this, he would never turn into a little fox again. Absolutely not. He was depressed and fiercely glared at Luo Qingtong. It was all because of this woman. Haha. Luo Qingtong was trying hard to hold back her laughter. But now she couldn't hold it in and immediately fell to the ground laughing. "Oh my, luckily Bei Qing and Feng Yu weren't here. Otherwise, Yi Qianming's reputation would be ruined." She fell on the grass. Yi Qianming saw her laughing so wildly and immediately gritted his teeth and pounced on her. Let this woman laugh at him. Hey. Don't, it tickles. Luo Qingtong was tickled by him. The little fox's little teeth were not lethal at all. Luo Qingtong felt itchy as he grinded a piece of meat in his mouth. The two of them fell to the ground, laughing. After a while, Luo Qingtong's eyes. Boom. She sat up abruptly. At the same time, Yi Qianming's figure was also in her arms. Boom boom boom. The moment Luo Qingtong got up, the entire beast garden seemed to shake violently. In the garden where Luo Qingtong was, fences rose up one after another. Quick. Run quickly. The fences in the beast garden are out of control. There was a faint sound of panic coming from outside. However, the light in Luo Qingtong's eyes was extremely cold. Out of control? Whether it was because they had lost control or because some people had done it on purpose, only they themselves would know. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold and directly flew up with Yi Qianming. Chapter 1890. Swoosh. Luo Qingtong's figure dashed out of the beast garden. However, at this moment she was in this top-notch beast garden. In mid-air, the figure of a defensive barrier suddenly appeared, and dazzling light blossomed in all directions. Rumble. As the defense shield of the beast garden appeared in mid-air, Luo Qingtong's plan to hide outside fell through instantly. Yitong. The beast garden is out of control. I'll immediately report to the Valley Master and the rest. The demonic beasts here are precious. We can't afford to lose any of them. Stay here first, we'll come to save you very soon. The voice of the steward came from outside. When Luo Qingtong heard this, a cold glint flashed in her eyes and she instantly smiled. Interesting, Fang Jingyu and the rest really did a flawless job. The beast garden was out of control, and the demonic beasts here were precious. They couldn't afford to lose any of them, so they locked her up here? If she was a real probationary disciple, even if she didn't die this time, she would be half dead. However, she wasn't. Luo Qingtong's lips curled up slightly, but she wasn't in a hurry to leave. Her actions just now were only to confirm what Fang Jingyu and the rest wanted to do. She didn't really want to escape. She had to put on an act, wasn't that right? Rumble. The deafening sounds all around became more and more intense. Luo Qingtong's gaze swept the surroundings, only to see that after the fences rose, the demonic beasts inside all raised their heads. Pairs of bloodshot and ruthless eyes stared closely at Luo Qingtong's direction. At this moment, Luo Qingtong was the only one left in the entire beast garden. Bang bang bang. Those demonic beasts stepped out of their respective cages. The entire beast garden was filled with the figures of demonic beasts. At this moment, Fang Jingyu received the news from the people in the beast garden, and instantly laughed heartily. Good. Very good. Luo Qingtong was trapped in that top-notch beast garden. Even if she didn't die this time, she would be half dead. She was just waiting to see how unlucky she was to take revenge for being crippled. Fang Jingyu's eyes flashed coldly. And at this moment, in the beast garden, Luo Qingtong also faced these demonic beasts that had stepped out of their cages. Roar! These demonic beasts roared towards the sky and charged towards Luo Qingtong and Yi Qianming. Looking at their figures rushing over, Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed slightly. She released the suppressing aura of the ninefold exquisite pagoda in her mind, suppressing them in place. The aura of the group of powerful demon beasts was violent and wanton, but there was no way for them to approach Luo Qingtong. This was what Luo Qingtong had thought of when she came to the beast garden. He used the aura of the nine-layered exquisite pagoda to suppress these demonic beasts. This way he wouldn't have to expose his strength and wouldn't put himself in danger. Otherwise, how could she fulfill Fang Jingyu's wish and come to this beast garden? The other party wanted to teach him a lesson, but he had no idea who would be the one to be taught a lesson in the end. Luo Qingtong's expression was indifferent. The aura of the nine-layered exquisite pagoda spread out around her, protecting her and Little Silver, who was transformed into Bai Yi Qianming. Not to mention that she could only hold on for a short period of time, even if she stayed here forever she would still be fine. Rumble. Those demonic beasts couldn't get close to Luo Qingtong, so they immediately wreaked havoc on the plains, fighting against each other. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.